Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream watch along on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. It's the first test match between Australia and the West Indies from Perth, and we're getting ready for what will be an interesting final session of day three. And Australia will be quite pleased with their work thus far. 4 wickets they've taken, and the West Indies, they're fighting hard. 4 for 237 after 77 overs. They trail by 361 runs. And it's going to be tough work for the West Indian batters, but they're making a good effort here, fighting and trying to get something out of this test match after a very dominant performance by Australia with the bat early in this test match. But the players are just having the tea break, and we're about to begin the final session of the day. But thanks for joining us, everyone. Test cricket is back in Australia, and it's great to have Test cricket back. And Australia playing some good test cricket, and hopefully they can get the job done here in Perth in the first test match against the West Indies. But 3 wickets fell in that second session of play, and Australia will be very happy about taking those 3 wickets. It's been a very good surface to bat on, but there have been some opportunities for the bowlers to take wickets. So that's very good to see as well. And the sun's baking the pitch here in Perth, and hopefully that will open up the cracks, and then the bowlers can use that to their advantage, and hopefully the pitch will deteriorate as the test match goes on into day 4 and also into day 5. So for the West Indies, 4 for 237. After 77 overs, they trail by 361 runs in their first innings, and they will start after tea with 6 wickets in hand. For Australia, they've got 3 overs left until a new ball, until they take that second new ball after the 80-over mark, and they'll be hoping to get that new ball straight away and get back to taking wickets in this last session of the day. And very dominant performance by Australia in this test match thus far from the start. They've batted well, imposing total in the first innings, almost 600 runs. And they'll be hoping to finish off the job here as Pat Cummins and the team having a few words in the huddle as the team makes their way out to the middle of Perth Stadium, getting ready for what will be an important final session of the day. So the Australian bowlers, they'll be eager to get the wickets, 6 wickets they need. The West Indies are 4 for 237, 3 overs until the new ball. We'll get to some of the comments here. Thank you, Yasia, for your comment. Chandapal, what about his batting? I thought he batted well. Showed some good character, good fight. He wasn't scared of the challenge. He took it head on, and he batted really well. Good half century. Unfortunate for him to get out soon after he made his half century. But, I think he's going to score many runs for the West Indies in the future. But a very good start to his career. Very tough playing here in Perth. But he'll be very happy about how he went in his first innings. But I thought he batted well. He showed great temperament, good technique. Bats like his father, of course, Shivran Chandapal. So, very good from the youngster. So, Australia, they've got 3 overs left until that new ball. It's going to be Nathan Lyon who got the breakthrough. For Australia, got that wicket of Jason Holder caught at leg slip by David Warner. And he'll be hoping to get another one here after the tea break. Here we go. Line in to Brooks, who pushes us down to long off for a dot ball. Good start from Australia after the break. So Shamar Brooks in. He's the concussion sub because Bonner was out with concussion. Line in, and Brooks drives him down the ground. And Josh Hazelwood would cut it off at long on. They'll pick up a single there. And the West Indies starting okay after the tea break. Australia will be hoping to get to that new ball and take it straight away. The West Indies 4 for 238, and they trail by 360 runs behind Australia on the first innings. So here we go, line in to Blackwood. He's on strike. He's in, he bowls. This one's tossed up and driven straight to the fielder at cover. Dot ball from Nathan Lyon there. And Blackwood has found it a bit tough. 35 off 93 balls. Getting a little bit bogged down. Here we go. Line in to Blackwood again. This one outside his off stump and left. And straight through to the keeper for no run. Australia building pressure nicely here. Trying to do the basics right, really, in this last session. And you would think Australia would be hoping that new ball can come quick. Take that straight away and build pressure. Line in again to Blackwood. This one traps Blackwood on the crease, on his pads. In the end, he still survives. And it's a dot ball. Yassir, you say, I guess his open stance created a bit of a problem for him, but that's just what he is. I wish him the best. Yeah. Similar technique to his father, that's for sure. Line in, last ball the over to Blackwood. This one defended on the front foot from Blackwood for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 4 for 238. West Indies trail by 360 runs. Going to be a tough challenge for them, but for the West Indies, it's all about just trying to tough it out and show a bit of grit, determination, fight. That's what they're doing at the moment. But for Australia, they just know if they can get an early breakthrough in the session, then they'll be very happy with that. Australia is still in the box seat to win this test match. For the West Indies, it's going to be tough for them to get out of this test match with a draw. So, a change of bowling. It's going to be Travis Head. Well, we saw Marnus Labuschagne have a bowl just before the tea break. And now he's been taken out of the attack. And Travis Head's going to bowl a few overs of off spin. And I can see why Australia are doing this. Obviously, trying to get to that new ball as quick as possible. As Head bowls to Brooks. Brooks defends. Back down the pitch for no run. So Travis Head, he made a good 99. Head in to Brooks. This one's defended back down the pitch to Head for no run. So Australia just trying to get their overs quickly. Head in again to Brooks. He sweeps. Doesn't quite time it. Dot ball. Travis Head, he can get a wicket. I believe he got 5 wickets in Sri Lanka once in that test match early this year. Head in again to Brooks. This one defended on the back foot for no run. And Australia, they'll be going along nicely here. It's been a good test match for Australia. It's been a dominant performance, but the West Indies fighting hard. Head in to Brooks, who drives straight back down the ground. Is that going to be cut off? No, it's not. It's going to be 4 runs. First boundary after tea for the West Indies. And Brooks, the concussion sub, has hit another boundary. And he drilled this one straight back over Travis Head for 4 runs. Out of reach there, Travis Head just couldn't stop that. It doesn't really matter. Australia have got plenty of runs on the board anyway. The West Indies still trail by 356. Head in to Brooks. He drives to mid-off for no run. And Travis Head just trying to get through the overs here as Australia try and get that new ball. What have I make of today's play, the state of play? I think it's been pretty good from Australia's point of view. They've bowled pretty well. They've bowled better than they did in the last session yesterday. I thought we bowled a bit short, but they've rectified that today. They've bowled really well in the first 2 sessions and be hoping to bowl well in the last session here. Hopefully get the 7 wickets, wrap up the West Indian innings, and hopefully get back out there with that and put on a few more runs and then look to push on and try and win the test match on day 4 and day 5. That's the end of the over. 4 for 242. Nathan Lyon in. He bowls to Blackwood, who works this to mid-wicket for no run. West Indies trail by 356 runs. It's a big deficit. Going to be a big challenge for them. So we'll get to the comments in a minute. Some people have commented. Lyon in again to Blackwood. Blackwood defends outside his off stump for no run. He's been battling hard, Blackwood. He's been bogged down a bit. Very different player to what he was a few years ago. Sort of refined his game. Line in again to Blackwood. This one whipped to to Labuschagne. Short leg. Does well. Does the fielding there. Dot ball. So Australia just basically trying to get to that new ball. It's 1 over away. After this over, they can take that new ball, and hopefully that will bring about the breakthroughs. Line in again to Blackwood. This one defended or pushed or glided behind square on the leg side. They'll pick up a single. He moves on to 36. West Indies are 4 for 243. They trail by 355. And they had a tough couple of days in the field. But I thought the West Indies, they did well to toil hard. But then it just sort of fell away a little bit there in the bowling performance. Line into Brooks. This one defended or glided again behind square to find leg for a single. Nathan Lyon got that breakthrough of Jason Holder. Good catch from David Warner at leg slip. It was a very good take. So last ball of Nathan Lyon's over, and he'll be looking to finish this delivery so Australia can get that new ball. Line into Blackwood. This one's defended on the front foot to short leg for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 4 for 244 after 80 overs. And for the West Indies, I'll have to contend with a new ball, as Australia will probably take the new ball, you would think. I would take it now. No point waiting around, bowling a couple of overs with the old ball. Got to take it now. It looks like they're going to take the new ball. Umpire Richard Illingworth's going to give it to Mitchell Starc, and he gives his cap to the umpire. Richard Illingworth signals new ball to the batters and scorers and to everyone. We'll get to the comments here. Garcia says, you keeping an eye on England and Pakistan. Well, what a test match that is. It's pretty crazy over there in Rawalpindi. I'm not surprised. It's a pretty flat pitch. Obviously, watching the Australia test match early in the year, I think that test match is going to be a draw. But some unbelievable batting from England. But really, not really what you want to see in test cricket, really. You don't want to see 500 runs scored in a day, basically. And I think England did it in 70-odd overs, which is a signal of their intent, but you don't really want to see that in test match cricket. Mitchell Starc's got the new ball in hand, and he'll be bowling to Blackwood. He'll be hoping to get a wicket with this new ball. This pitch has been pretty good. It's got something in it for the bowlers if you bowl in the right areas. Here we go. Starc into Blackwood. Sorry, to Brooks. He bowls this one full, and Brooks does well to defend this, and it goes straight to mid-on for no run. John, hello, John. You say has been some very good test cricket played so far from both sides. Going by the scorecard, you would think the pitch was a bit of a road, but anything but. Exactly right. It's not really a road. There is something there for the bowlers. And if you bowl in the right areas, you're going to get wickets. And we've seen that from Australia today. The West Indian batters have been challenged, but they've been up to the task so far. Starc in again to Brooks. This one full, driven straight back to Starc for no run from Brooks. Came in as a concussion sub, Shamar Brooks. 24 or 33, not bad as a concussion sub. Obviously, Bonner got hit by Cameron Green on the back of the helmet, and he's out with concussion. So the West Indies have activated the concussion sub for them, and Shamar Brooks comes in to replace Bonner for the rest of the match. Well, thanks for your comment, John. It's been very good test cricket to start the summer. Here we go. Starc in again to Brooks. He's on 24. Starc in. This one full, defended on the front foot from Brooks for no run. Mitchell Starc looking to get a bit of swing with this new ball. That's what he tends to do. He's bowled pretty well in this innings thus far. Yasir, you say the West Indies and Australia isn't broadcasted here in the subcontinent, unfortunately. Well, at least you can listen to my thoughts on the game. It's been an interesting test match thus far, but Australia well in control, as expected. Daria, hello. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Starc in to Brooks. This one short of a length, and Left straight through to the keeper from Brooks for no run. West Indian batters have been watchful, which is good to see from them. You want to see a bit of fight from the West Indies, and I think going into this series, I think a lot of people said the batting wouldn't hold up and they would struggle a bit. But in this test match thus far, they've really applied themselves well, but there's still a long way to go. And if a couple of wickets fall here, Australia can definitely expose the rest of the West Indian batting lineup. Mitchell Starc in again to Brooks. He bowls. This one full. Brooks defends again for no run. And Mitchell Starc trying to get that swing there with the ball, with the new ball. That one just shaping back into Brooks there, the right-hander. He's bowled well today, Mitchell Starc. Bowled with good pace. Good to see him. Got that wicket of Kyle Mayers, which was a wonderful delivery. Hit the top of off stump and clean bowled him. And Mayers didn't look comfortable at the crease, Kyle Mayers. But Mitchell Starc, last ball of his over. In again to Brooks. He bowls this one short of length, but well left from Brooks, straight through to the keeper for a dot ball to end the over. It's 4 for 245. After 81 overs, West Indies trail by in excess of 350. They'll be hoping that they can show a bit more fight and resilience. And I think that's the order of the day. You want to see the West Indies being competitive. You don't want to see them struggle a bit, but we've seen that from them over the years. They do tend to struggle a bit in the test format. It's going to be Josh Hazelwood. He's bowled well today. Got the wicket of the youngster, Tagnarayan Chandapal. Early in the day, that was the first over of the day. Chandapal brought up his 50 and then next ball edged it straight to first slip to David Warner. Unfortunate for the youngster, but he batted well. Yes, here says, hark, the Herald Angels sing, Mitchell Starc, the new ball king. Hazelwood in to Blackwood, who tries to fend off this delivery from Hazelwood. Didn't look comfortable there. In the end, it goes straight out to Nathan Lyon at point, but he survives. Hasn't looked comfortable. Blackwood, especially with the short ball today. He's been hopping around. So Australia have got the short leg in, which I like. Look to go upstairs with him. Pat Cummins, I think he's captained well again today. He's bowled really well. 200 test wickets, averaging in the mid or low 20s, which is pretty phenomenal. Hazelwood in to Blackwood, flashing at this one outside off stump, nearly a caught behind. Blackwood wanted to try and carve Hazelwood through the covers, but in the end, nearly got an outside edge. That one swinging away from Blackwood, that delivery from Hazelwood. Good take from Alex Carey. I thought he's kept well tonight. Or today, I should say, behind the stumps. Pretty straightforward for him today as a keeper. John, you say, I only just noticed this in this test. They've done away with the protective pad behind the grill and the helmets. Any ideas why? Hazelwood in to Blackwood. This one, a play in a mess. Past his outside edge. We've seen that many times today from the Australian bowlers. Plays and misses from the West Indian batters. And they're unlucky not to get an outside edge. Hazelwood, good delivery there. Blackwood trying to feel for that delivery outside the off stump. Nearly got the outside edge. Australia probing with this new ball. The West Indian batters, they've got to be disciplined. Go back to your question there, John. I think certain batters feel comfortable wearing them. Not all batters don't like to wear the padding behind the helmet. Hazelwood in to Blackwood, who drives this straight to mid-off for no run. Dot ball there. So some batters don't prefer to wear the protective padding behind the helmet because they don't feel comfortable with it. It takes a little bit of time to get used to. So with Bonner, maybe he doesn't like wearing it because he feels uncomfortable with it, but it will certainly help you. It will certainly help him. Unfortunately, it hit him on the back of the neck there, back of the helmet. If the padding was there, it would have protected him. But he's out with concussion. Hazelwood into Blackwood. This one's short, and Blackwood does well to defend this into the ground for no run. Hasn't been comfortable, Blackwood, with the short ball. He's been a bit uneasy with it today. Been hopping around. We've seen some very good deliveries from the Australian bowlers when they've bowled short. Good pace and bounce in the surface. Yasir says, sometimes I feel Sampa should at least get one chance in Test matches. Well, he's playing Sheffield Shield cricket at the moment for New South Wales. He's playing in the latest game today. I think he got a few wickets. Hazelwood in to Blackwood, who leaves this outside his off stump. Straight through to the keeper for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 4 for 244. Good over there from Hazelwood. It's a maiden. And Australia building pressure nicely with this new ball. 2 overs with this new ball. And you will want to pitch it up. Make the batters play. You don't want them to be leaving. You want to make them play every delivery. That's the idea in Test cricket. You want the bowlers making the batters play. And we've seen in the West Indian bowling performance, they didn't do that. They bowled a fraction too short. But great batting from the Australian batters in this Test match. Good to see the top order scoring runs and consistently. Mitchell Starc to continue. He's 1 for 44 from his 18 overs. He's going to bowl to Shamar Brooks, the concussion sub, who's come in for Bonner. Starc in to Brooks. This one down the leg side. He tried to work that down to find leg. Brooks in the end. Swing and a miss. Straight through to the keeper for no run. Would have been a lot worse for Brooks there if he got a bit of bat on glove on that. But in the end, he didn't hit the ball, so he survives. John says, don't think I've seen any batsman wear it. Yeah, the way Bonner got hit, me, sinking feeling in the stomach. Yeah, it's never nice, but unfortunately for Bonner, it didn't quite play it well. It took his eyes away from it. Starc into Brooks. This one down the leg side again. Brooks tries to get bat on this. He misses it. Straight through to the keeper for no run. Yeah, playing the short ball is so important in Test cricket. You have to watch the ball. You take your eyes off the ball, you're going to get hit like Bonner did. And we see so many batters in the game do that, and they get hit. Obviously, the fear factor has been taken out with helmets now, but back in the day, when you didn't have helmets, you saw players who played the short ball very well with a pull and hook shot. Not these days. Starc in to Brooks. This one swinging into the right-hander. Brooks gets an inside edge. It goes behind square to find leg for a single. Good delivery from Starc, getting this new ball to swing on this Perth surface, which should break up. The sun's been baking it. Inside edge there from Brooks. Nearly back onto his stumps, but he hit his back leg. Gets away with it. In the end, went through his legs. And it went out to find leg for a single. So the West Indies fighting hard here. You can just see they're just fighting with themselves. They're showing some great temperament. But how long can they keep this up for? Starc in again to Blackwood. He bowls this one full. Traps her on the pads. He's given. He's gone. He's gone. Blackwood is gone. LBW, the wicket that Australia needed. And Jermaine Blackwood is going to review it, but I'm pretty sure he's gone. That looked pretty good to me. Looked like it pitched in line. Impact was in line. I think it was hitting the stumps. We'll have to see what the third umpire decides, but that's a good start from Australia in this last session. Blackwood reviewing in hope. Maybe he hit it. I don't think he got an edge on that. Ball is close to the bat, but let's have a look. No, nothing on a hot spot. I think he's got to go here, Blackwood. It looks pretty good to me. What do you think at home? Do you think it's out? My finger was up. Being an umpire, that looked pretty good. And Richard Illingworth made that decision. Let's have a look. Nothing there on Snicko. I don't think it's hit the bat. I think it was pad first there. But very good from Mitchell Starc. This is what he can do with the new ball. Swing it back into the right-hander with the angle from over the wicket. It's umpire's call. It's umpire's call. It's clipping the stumps. It doesn't matter. He's got to go, Blackwood. Wicket down for the West Indies after tea. Mitchell Starc, the breakthrough with the new ball. And Jermaine Blackwood has to go for 36. It's 5 for 245. And Australia break through after tea. They'll be buoyed by that wicket. Jermaine Blackwood has got the wicket. Sorry, Mitchell Starc's got the wicket that Australia needed. That one just clipping leg stump. Umpire's call. Good enough for the umpire to give it out. It was marginal. Doesn't matter. He's got to go. First wicket down for the West Indians in this last session of play. Blackwood gone. He batted well for his 36, but he's got to go. And that brings De Silva to the crease, who's got a big job to do here. The wicketkeeper batter from the West Indies. He's got a test century that was against England early this year. He'll be hoping to rectify that, but trapped on the crease there. Blackwood, that one trapping him in front. No hesitation from Richard Illingworth, the umpire, to give that out. And in the end, he is gone. You can just see the face of Blackwood there. He was disappointed. But in the end, that's what happens. Unfortunately, you just got to go. And that is the end of his innings. De Silva arrives at the crease, and he'll be hoping to get off to a good start here. Starc into De Silva. This one down the leg side, straight through to the keeper for no run. And I can tell you, Australia will be very happy with that wicket. Very happy indeed. That one clipping the leg stump. Good enough for the umpire to give it out. No hesitation from Richard Illingworth to give that one out. That was marginal, but umpire's call doesn't matter. Australia will take it. De Silva will be facing Starc. Last ball of the over. He's in. This one full. Nicely defended by De Silva. Back down the pitch for no run. It's the end of the over. 83 overs done. It's 5 for 245. After 83 overs, the West Indies have lost their first wicket after tea, and that was Jermaine Blackwood for 36. 353, it's a big deficit for the West Indies to make up, but they've got an opportunity here, the West Indies, to show some fight, show some character, and just tough it out. I think that's what they got to do. They've done well, but for Australia, they're just a quality attack. They're always going to put pressure on you. You know, it's ever relentless with the Australian bowlers. Hazelwood in again to Brooks. This one full outside his off stump. Brooks leaves this straight through to the keeper for no run. He's pretty content. Shamar Brooks, Shamar Brooks to dig in here. And the West Indies need something, need a bit of fight here. Bit of grit, determination, get through these tough periods of play, tough it out. Hazelwood in to Brooks, who defends on the front foot for no run. Dot ball, building pressure nicely, Josh Hazelwood. Like the way how he bowls, Josh Hazelwood. Reminds me of Glenn McGrath, that metronomic sort of bowler. He can really bowl a good line and length and really hammer that line and length ball after ball. Yasir says, which team is touring Australia after West Indies? South Africa. Yasir, South Africa. Come out for 3 test matches. That will be in December. So a few days after this series finishes, South Africa will be coming out for 3 test matches. Hazelwood into Brooks. Leaves this straight through to the keeper for no run. Dot ball. I hope everyone's enjoying the test match. I've certainly enjoyed the first test of the summer, as always. John, you say there's something odd going on with either Hotspot or Snicko. That LBW reversal of Holder just didn't compute Not complaining about the decision, just the tech. Yes, it was close. It was close. At first, I thought he didn't hit it. I thought there was a bit of gap between the ball and the bat, but Snicker picked up something. Hazelwood in to Brooks. This one defended by Brooks for no run. He's looking like he's going to bat for a very long time. Brooks he's come in as the concussion sub, and he's doing okay. Being called up at late notice, never easy when you're not a part of the 11, but you have to come into the side after a concussion has happened to Bonner. Hazelwood in, 5th ball of the over to Brooks. Over the wickets. He bowls this one left by Brooks. Good leave in the end. Straight through to the keeper for no run. Josh Hazelwood bowling well again. Building pressure. 5 dot balls in this over. Yeah, that's always the case, John. Technology is never 100%, but we always have a fallback system. So if hotspot or Snicker is not conclusive, we can always go to the other part of the technology to try and get the right decision. So, yep, that was a close call, but the third umpire said he hit it. So, in the end, it doesn't really matter because Holder's out. But, yeah, the Australians weren't sure about that decision. Hazelwood into Brooks. This one short, but well played from Brooks. Leaves it straight through to the keeper for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 5 for 245. Another maiden over from Josh Hazelwood. Bowling well as always. Here for Australia, Dibbly-Dobbly's got a wicket thus far. West Indies trail by 353. Not going to be easy for the West Indies to try and save the test match, but you would think Australia, they'll be able to push hard in this session, pick up another couple of wickets, get them 7 down. I think that will be a good result, and then look to bat again. I think they will bat again. They can force the follow-on if they can. Stark into De Silva and bowled him. Bowled him all ends up. He's clean bowled him. He's gone to Silva for a duck. And Australia get the 2nd wicket of the last session. Joshua De Silva, clean bowled by Mitchell Stark. He's gone for a duck. And the West Indies lose their 6th wicket here in Perth. Wonderful delivery from Stark. Full and straight at the stumps. Through the gate. Bowled him neck and crump, as we say. De Silva's out of there. And Mitchell Stark's got 2 after tea. This is more like it from the Australians. De Silva's got to go. It is 6 for 245. Joshua De Silva is gone. Wicket for the Australian bowlers. And that was a wonderful delivery from Stark. When he gets it full and straight like that with the new ball, swinging it into the right-hander from left arm over the wicket. That was a pretty good delivery. De Silva, you could say he should have played that a lot better, but at the end of the day, just got to say it's a good ball from Mitchell Stark. Good pace, bit of swing, big gap between bat and pad from De Silva through the gate, and he's out of there. So things are starting to happen, and I do think that the West Indies now are going to struggle a little bit now. Roston Chase, the off spinner, is out in the middle. He's joined Shamar Brooks, his teammate, batting at number 8. Didn't have a great time with it, but the ball was quite expensive. He'll be hoping to get through this Mitchell Stark over. Not bad record in Test cricket, 2,000 runs. He's got 5 centuries and 9.5 centuries. So not bad. He can bat. He'll be facing the music from Mitchell Stark, that's for sure. Who's got his tail up. So here we go. Stark into Chase for the first time. So Stark in. Bowls. This one full outside off stump. Chase glides this, drives this, I should say, through mid-off for a quick single. He's off the mark with a couple of runs, I should say. John says even Rod Tucker got a little confused. Yeah, he did. I heard Rod Tucker say on the stump mics, John, I gave it out because it looked out. And it was hitting the stumps. Ball tracking did show that. Unfortunately, got a bit of bat on it. So, had to change his decision there, Rod Tucker. But a very good decision, but inside edge. Mitchell Stark's got 3 wickets here. He's into Roston Chase again. He bowls this one full and defended to mid-off from Chase for no run. West Indies trail by 351. They're 6 for 247. Things are starting to happen. A lot of people said this pitch is a little bit flat, but it hasn't been flat, really. The ball's done a bit. If you put it in the right areas, the ball has done something. You just have to be disciplined, and Australia have been disciplined today, and they've got the ball in the right areas. Unlike the West Indies, where at times in their bowling innings, they didn't quite get the ball in the right areas for long periods of time. And that's why they struggled a little bit there. So here we go. Roston Chase facing Stark again. Stark in, this one short. Ducked under by Chase, straight through to the keeper for no run. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the test match, and certainly I'm enjoying the start of the test summer. Best part of the summer, in my opinion. Yes, we had the T20 World Cup, the ODIs, but when the test matches come around, it's a wonderful time of year, that's for sure, in Australia. Getting into the end of the year and nearly holiday time as well. It's always great watching the test summer. Here we go, Mitchell Stark. He's got 2 balls left, in for his 5th. To Chase, he bowls this one full. Chase whips him for his square leg for at least a couple of runs. Pushing for 2. They'll come back for a second. Roston Chase moves on to 4. West Indies are 6 for 249. John, you say enforce the follow-on or bat again. Interesting choice. Smith a bit sore in the hips, and Marner spent quite some time on the massage table. Yeah, John, it depends how quickly they'll get the last 4 wickets. But I think they'll bat again. That's the modern way. Modern-day teams, they don't enforce the follow-on. You bat again, and I think Australia will bat again tonight if they pick up the 4 wickets quickly, which I think they will in this last session now. Stark in to Chase. This one full. Chase defends it to backward point for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 6 for 249. And the West Indies trail by 349. Looks very intimidating. The West Indies now, 6 for 249. After 85 overs. It was a promising start from the West Indies. They really showed a lot of fight and grit and determination. And I did speak about that before the series started. They've got to show that fight with both bat and ball. They've done that with the bat, but Australia, the quality attack they have, they're always going to be tested every ball. And we've seen that today. The Australian bowlers have been bowling superbly. It's been a great performance from them, and we've seen that. So Josh Hazelwood will continue to Brooks. In this one, down the leg side, it will run away to the fine leg boundary for 4 from Brooks. And the 250 is up for the West Indies with that boundary. And 4 runs for Shamar Brooks. Hazelwood not quite getting the line right there, but doesn't matter. Australia have got enough runs on the board. They're looking to take wickets and be on the attack. John says pitch has had good bounce and carry, just a little slow on day 1 because of the grass the curator left on. It's played well, no surprises. Might be a bit of a handful on day 5. I think it will, John. I think the cracks will open up, and I think we'll see a bit of turn for Nathan Lyon as well. So that'll be good. Hazelwood in to Brooks. This one full and driven straight to mid-off from Brooks for no run. Well, yes, I believe there was 12 mils of grass left on the surface, which is, well, just to hold the pitch together, obviously. But the sun's baking the pitch. It's quite a hot day in Perth. So hopefully the cracks will open up with the heat. And they'll definitely open up in Perth, as they always do. And hopefully on day 4, day 5, we see that deterioration. And hopefully a bit of spin as well for Nathan Lyon to get into the game. Hazelwood into Brooks. This one full, defended by Brooks for no run. Defends it straight back to the bowler for no run. But it's a good start from Australia. 2 wickets in this last session. That was important to take the new ball and to strike. And that's what they've done. So if they can get rid of Brooks here, he's been out there for 49 balls now. If they can get him out, get into the Tailenders, I think this will be over in quick time. I don't know how the West Indian Tailenders bat, so I'm pretty sure they can hold the willow. But it's going to be a challenge for them when they do come out there on this pitch up against the Australian quicks. Hazelwood into Brooks again. This one's short, ducks underneath it. Brooks played it well. Straight through to the keeper for no run. But the West Indies, 6 for 253. It's going to be tough for them. But for the West Indies, for them, it's all about trying to develop and get better on this tour, I think. Not think about what the end result's going to be. Think about how you can get better with both bat and ball. I think that's the order of the day for the West Indian team. Hazelwood into Brooks. This one left outside his off stump, straight through the keeper. And there's no run. So that's how the West Indies will be approaching this test series. And I really admire how Craig Braithwaite is leading this side. He speaks the right things. He knows what he's talking about. He's pretty much had a clear message to his team, and that's let's try and play our best cricket for 10 days in this series. And let's try our best and, keep fighting. That's one characteristic he's trying to instill into this West Indian team. Hazelwood in, last ball be over to Brooks. This one down the leg side, beats Carey, and it races away to the boundary for 4 to end the over. A couple of boundaries in the over there, 4 byes in the end on that last ball. It's the end of the over. It's 6 for 257 after 86 overs. West Indies trail still over 340 runs behind Australia on first innings. And Australia, they're well poised in this test match. It's going to be hard for the West Indies to try and save this test match, try and bat out for a draw. But they've showed a lot of fight, determination, grit. They've really applied themselves, really. They'll be disappointed to get out when they did. But the Australian bowlers have bowled really well. And after tea, they're right on the money. Stark and Hazelwood, especially Stark with 2 wickets of Blackwood and De Silva. Which will start to continue. And the West Indies, what can they do here? What can they do? Try and eke out a few more runs. They've got 4 wickets in hand. Australia have got their tails up. Mitchell Stark in for his 21st over. He's going to bowl to Chase. This one very wide of the off stump. Chase leaves it straight through to the keeper for no run. Not interested in playing that delivery. Pat Cummins will be very delighted with how things have turned out after tea. Mitchell Stark, 290 test wickets for him. He's 1 away from equaling Craig McDermott's record. And he's closing in 10 wickets away to 300 test wickets for Mitchell Stark in his career. Stark in again to Chase. This one full and defended to backward point for no run from Chase. West Indies fighting on here in Perth, but they've given it a good fight. It's just that Australia is just starting to get things together with the ball. Things are starting to happen with this new ball, and that's what's happening at the moment. Mitchell Stark, 290 test wickets, averaging 27.5. That's not bad for a fast bowler. 72 test matches. This is his 72nd. So that's not bad either. He's played a lot of tests. Stark in again to Chase. This one full defended by Chase to mid-off for no run. Dot ball. Building pressure nicely there, Mitchell Stark. West Indies 6 for 257 here in Perth. 341 they trail by. It's an intimidating deficit. But we shall see what they can do in this last session. Fight it out, try and bat over 100 overs and try and get through this onslaught. But tough work for them. Stark in to chase. This one is a short ball. Chase ducks underneath it. And in the end, no run, straight through the keeper. Stark getting some bounce pace on this surface here in Perth. Quite a very bouncy surface. Stark in again to chase. This one wide of the off stump. Very wide from Stark, trying to angle the ball back into Chase, the right-hander. Bowling left arm over the wicket, of course. So he's angling the ball across him and hoping to swing one back through to the stumps and hit him on the pads, get a bowl or LBW. But that one was just a little bit too wide from Stark. But anyway, dot ball, shouldered arms there, Chase, and left it straight through to the keeper for no run. But a very good session from Australia thus far. 2 wickets. Blackwood and De Silva are back in the pavilion. Mitchell Stark causing the damage. Got rid of Blackwood, LBW, and then De Silva bowled for a duck. Stark in to chase. This one full. Defended by Chase. Straight back to Mitchell Stark for no run. Dot ball. John says, I was a little disappointed in Braithwaite's captaincy on day 2. He had virtually conceded it and was aiming for the draw. His tactics didn't slow the run rate at all. No, I agree with that as well, John. The West Indies, yes, you are going to be a bit, the morale's going to take a bit of a hit when you're out there for 150 overs, but you still got to show some energy and fight. To me, they were just not wanting to chase the ball when it went to the boundary. There was no urgency there, going through the motions a bit there. So for the West Indies, it's all about trying to fight every ball and every over. That's what Test cricket's about. You can't just give up when the opposition are on top. So, yeah, on day 1 and day 2, especially day 2, they just virtually conceded and pretty much they were bowling pretty much just waiting for Australia to declare pretty much. Pat Cummins into the attack. He'll bowl to Brooks. And Brooks works it to mid-wicket, looking for a quick single, but in the end, they decide not to run. Dot ball. So it was a bit disappointing from the West Indies point of view that they just sort of lacked that intensity and urgency on day 2. That's understandable when you've been out there for 150 overs. You want to get off. You just don't want to bowl another over again because it's demoralizing. But for the West Indies, if they are going to get better as a test team, they've got to really have that fighting ability. They just can't give up in those situations. Cummins in again to Brooks. This one, past his outside edge. Nearly got the outside edge straight through to the keeper for no run. Pat Cummins, he's bowled well all day today. He could have had 3 or 4 wickets by now. A lot of plays and misses that he's had. That one, another example of a play and a miss. Not catching the outside edge. He could have had 3 or 4 wickets by now. He's bowled really well today, Pat Cummins. 200 test wickets, of course. Averaging just a tick over 20, really, with the ball in test cricket. That's pretty good. Cummins in to Brooks. This one a bit straight on his pads. He whips it through mid-wicket. Looking for 2, maybe for 3. Will they come back for the 3rd? They will on the throw. 3 runs for Shamar Brooks. West Indies are 6 for 260. We go. Cummins in again to chase. This one's left outside his off stump for no run. He's 4 off 12. Roston Chase, Shamar Brooks, 32 off 55. The West Indies trail by 338. They're 6 for 260 in their first innings. And on the ropes a little bit here, the West Indies. Australia, they just feel like if they can get rid of Brooks, they can pretty much break it open here and get into the Tailenders. And I think that could happen given the type of bowling on this surface they will face. Cummins in, this one full and driven by Chase to mid-on for no run. West Indies 6 for 260. They'll be hoping to try and get through this relentless bowling from the Australians, but there's no respite. As soon as Mitchell Starc comes off, then you've got Josh Hazelwood, then you've got Pat Cummins, you've got Cameron Green, and then Nathan Lyon. It doesn't really stop. And for the West Indies, they're going to be tested every over. Every ball Cummins in to Chase. This one outside the off stump, left by Chase. Straight through to the keeper for no run. It's the end of the over. It's 6 for 260. And the West Indies battling on here in Perth. It's quite a good day in Perth, hot day. Good to see some people watching the cricket. That's been one of the talking points in Australian cricket over the last few weeks, the crowds, but good to see some people there watching the test match in Perth. Good to see a good turnout. May not be a big crowd, but there's some people there enjoying the cricket as always. Mitchell Starc, he's about to get ready to bowl another over. 349 from 21 overs. Bowled pretty well in this test match so far. So what can he do? He steams in again to Brooks. And this one's full. Brooks whips it through mid-wicket. He'll pick up a single. Well, Australia will be hoping to wrap this up tonight and get out there and start batting again. I don't think they'll force the follow-on. West Indies still trail by 330-odd runs. Very tempting for Pat Cummins to enforce it, but as we've mentioned before, modern-day teams, the modern era, teams don't like to enforce the follow-on. So I think Pat Cummins will bat again when Australia do pick up the last 4 wickets and bowl the West Indies out. They will enforce the follow-on and they will bat again in their second innings and post a target that's going to be unreachable for the West Indies to chase down. For the West Indies, they're going to be under pressure in that second innings. The pressure of trying to save a test match is often the hardest pressure in the game of cricket. Not easy doing it. You've got to have the players, you've got to have the stamina, you've got to have the willpower to try and bat out for a draw. It's not easy. Starc into Chase. This one past his outside edge. Playing a miss. Dot ball. Good bowling from Starc. Angling that ball across. The right-hander from over the wicket, left arm over the wicket. He's trying to push it across and then hopefully swing one back into the right-hander from that angle. And that's what the left armers try to do. Mitchell Starc tries to do that all the time. That one just passing the outside edge of Chase's bat. Top of his mark. Starc, and he gets ready to bowl to Chase. He's past the umpire. He bowls this one short. Chase defends this behind square on the offside to backward point for no run. Yasir, you say, is Mitchell Starc's pace and swing too much for the Windies' lower order? I would think so. Especially on this pitch, if he bowls some short balls as well, I think they'll be unsettled by that. But definitely his pace and swing, definitely. I think Tailenders don't like facing that. So when Australia do get this wicket for the 7th wicket and get into the bowlers, I think we'll see Mitchell Starc really be in his element. He's often the bowler you go to clean up the tail. He's in again to Chase. This one short. Down the leg side, deflected nicely from Chase. It beats the fielder. That short fine leg for 4 runs. A boundary there for Chase. I think that was 4 leg byes in the end. Got his pad. And 4 leg byes in the end for the West Indies. Yep, that one came off his pad. Leg byes, just went past Khawaja there. He was out of a leg slip. And unfortunately could not cut that off there. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. Australia have a lot of runs in the bank, over 333. They lead by. Stark in, this one full and driven straight back down the ground from Chase. Good fielding from Labuschagne at mid-off, who had to come around to cut that off. Saves a boundary. They only get a single. And Chase moves on to 5. It was a full delivery from Stark and bunted into the ground there from Chase. Went over the head of Stark. And he picked up a single in the end. Good fielding from mid-on and mid-off to cut that off. West Indies still looking to be proactive. And that's what they got to do with the bat, really. Stark in again, last ball of his over to Brooks. This one past his outside edge again. And he's bowled well. Good way to finish the over from Stark. Dot ball to finish. End of the over. It's 6 for 266 after 89 overs. And Australia, 4 wickets needed to bowl the West Indies out in their first innings. If they can do that, then they'll be looking to get out there and hopefully bat again and put on some more runs and increase that lead. It's already 330 odd runs. So Australia will be looking to try and get that up to 450 if they can, if they are going to bat again, which I think they will. And that will be the plan, that's for sure. They're in the box seat, that's for sure, in this test match, really, to win and lead 1-0 heading into Adelaide. Cummins in. Bowls to Chase. This one defended to mid-off for no run. Oh, well today, Pat Cummins. He's really led from the front, the skipper, as always. Doing his job. 200 test wickets, averaging 21. That's pretty remarkable. He joins a very good list of Australian bowlers to take 200 test wickets and average in the 20s with the ball. That's pretty good. Cummins in again to Chase. He bowls. Chase leaves this outside his off stump. Straight through to the keeper for a dot ball. John says Perth and Brisbane crowds can be pretty fickle when it comes to test cricket. How many times has CA floated the idea of not having a test match at either ground because of low attendance? Yeah, well, it is the first test of the summer, and obviously Australia playing the West Indies, of course. You're not going to have the big crowds like you will for an Ashes series or an India series or even South Africa. I know, so it's during the week as well. Cummins in to Chase. This one full and dug out to mid-off for no run. But it's definitely the talking point in Australian cricket at the moment, the crowds. But, yep, people will come to go and watch cricket if they want to. A lot of people watching from home these days as well. So there's a whole different range of factors that people are not going to the cricket. But good to see some people there. Pat Cummins. And again, 4th ball of his over. To Chase, he bowls. This one short down the leg side, and Chase leaves it straight through to the keeper for a dot ball. He's 5 off 22. His partner, Shamar Brooks, 33 off 57. West Indies trail by 332. 6 for 266. In reply to Australia's big score of 598 for 4 declared. Unbelievable batting we saw from Smith and Labuschagne yesterday. Travis Head, 99 he got, and he got out for 99. He's a part of the club now. Cummins in to Chase. This one full, defended to mid-on for no run. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. It's great to be back doing the live streams and watch-alongs. We're going to be doing this throughout the Test summer, but we're not going to do every day of the Test match. We're going to do one day, one particular day or session like we are today, day 3, last session. But it's always good doing the live streams and talking to all of you. So thanks for joining us. Pat Cummins, last ball of his over. He will bowl to Chase. And we'll finish off his over. He bowls this one full. Chase defends on the front foot for no run. It's a maiden over from Pat Cummins. It's still 6 for 266. 90 overs done in the West Indian first innings. Looking on to keep fighting on and keep showing determination, fight, grit, getting through the tough periods. Australia take a wicket here. They're into the Tailenders and Joseph, Roach and Seals. And I think they'll break it open if they do take a wicket here. That's the plan. But they've really backed their process today, the Australian bowlers. Back your process, back your methods, and you'll get wickets. John says Pat's average is just behind the measly Pigeon. It's still pretty good, John. Averaging 21 with 200 Test wickets is pretty good. It's remarkable. He's sort of going back to the old days when the bowlers back in the old days, as Cameron Green comes into the attack. He'll bowl to Brooks. This one full, outside edge, taken, gone. He's gone. He's got a wicket, Cameron Green. His first Test match in Perth. He gets a wicket. The youngsters get it. He's got a wicket, the youngster. Cameron Green has got the 7th wicket. The West Indies have lost their 7th. And Cameron Green breaks through for the first time today. Well, the 3rd wicket has gone down. He went for the drive there. Roston Chase got the outside edge straight through. Blackwood. Not Blackwood. He's already out already. Brooks, I should say. He went for the drive, got the outside edge, straight through to Carey, who takes a good catch. That is the end of Brooks. He's gone for 33. The West Indies have lost their 7th. They're 7 for 266. Well, Azari Joseph arrives at the middle. But good bowling here from Pat Cummins. Cameron Green got the outside edge. That's a good delivery. Went for the drive there, Brooks. And Alex Carey takes a very comfortable catch behind the stumps. Things are moving quickly in the Test match. That's what Test cricket can do. You can have a couple of quiet sessions, and then all of a sudden, you pick up a few wickets. Things are starting to happen. And that's what we're seeing from the Australian bowlers in this last session. 3 wickets now. Azari Joseph comes to the middle. He's got a lot of work to do. The Tailender at number 9. But going back to Pat Cummins' average, yeah, it's pretty good. 21's pretty good. John, you say measly in a good way. Yes, both of them very good bowlers, Glenn McGrath and Pat Cummins, but to average 21 with the ball in Test cricket, that's pretty good. Yasir says Sweppo, Mitchell Swepson, is playing in the Sheffield Shield. I believe he is. As Green bowls to Joseph, the new batter, this one full defended from Joseph for no run. Yes, he is. Mitchell Swepson is playing Sheffield Shield cricket. I believe he's in the Queensland side. Obviously, this round of the Sheffield Shield is the last round before the Big Bash starts in a few weeks on December the 13th. So we're not going to have much Sheffield Shield cricket from now until next year. Cameron Green in again to Joseph. And this one short, pulled high in the air from Joseph. It will fall safe at square leg. He gets away with that. That could have been caught, but in the end gets away with it. Try to pull and hook that short ball. Didn't look comfortable playing that. Wasn't convincing. But in the end, it fell safe. And I believe Marnus Labuschagne and Pat Cummins tried to get to that ball to catch it. They couldn't, just fell in the gap. They survive. The West Indian batters, and Joseph survives that delivery. So here we go. going to be Chase facing Green for the fourth ball of the over. Green into Chase. This one full, defended by Chase back down the pitch for a dot ball. John says nothing left to do now except swing. Pretty much, I think for the West Indies, if they're just going to sit and defend, they're just going to have a ball with their name on it. The Australian bowlers are pretty relentless, and pretty much just try and play your shots. Green in to Chase. This one defended on the front foot again for a dot ball. He's bowled well, Cameron Green. Deserves that wicket. First test match at home in Perth. And good to see him doing well. And didn't get a bat, but hopefully we'll see him get plenty of opportunities this summer with both bat and ball. And no doubt he'll score some runs and take wickets, and he already has. Got rid of Shamar Brooks in this over. Green in to Chase. This one down the leg side. Played a miss from Chase. Tried to glide that to fine leg. Didn't connect at all. Dot ball to finish. It's the end of the over. It's 7 for 267. Australia need 3 wickets to wrap up the West Indian innings to get out there and start batting again. Good last over from Cameron Green. Bowled really well. Got the wicket of Brooks. And he'll be hoping to get a few more wickets to finish off proceedings for Australia with the ball. Yasir, yes, I do play cricket. At any level, yes, I do. I also umpire as well. So play a bit of cricket, and when I'm not playing, I can umpire as well, which is good. Always good to do that, and always good to play cricket and to have fun. Nathan Lyon into the attack. Got a wicket. Got rid of Jason Holder. So the Australians really looking on to get these 3 wickets here. Lyon into Joseph. This one defended to mid-wicket for no run. He's looking to get a wicket here, Nathan Lyon. Australia looking to wrap up the West Indian innings. 3 wickets required. And I think they'll fall pretty quickly now with the Tailenders in. It's going to be tough work, I should say, for the West Indian batters. Lyon in. This one down the leg side, and Joseph leaves it straight through to the keeper for no run. Good take from Carey, dot ball. Ghulam, you say welcome and hello, and you say Australia bowling well. Yes, they are. Lyon in to Joseph. This one outside off stump. Leaves it straight through to the keeper for no run. Good take from Carey. He's kept well in this test match. Nathan Lyon looking for his second wicket if he can get it. He'll bowl to Joseph. This one defended to point for no run. Well, the West Indies, this series going to be a tough series for them, but it's all about just trying to fight, trying to stay in this contest. Not going to be easy though, but they're doing a good job of it. Trying to fight. Lyon into Joseph. This one outside off stump. Left again from Joseph. Straight through to the keeper for a dot ball. West Indies doing well. Trying to hang on here. Trying to fight and show a bit of grit, determination. And that's what Craig Braithwaite wants from this team. Lyon into Joseph. This one spinning into his pads for a dot ball to win the over. A maiden over there from Nathan Lyon. It's 7 for 267. Australia need 3 wickets to wrap up proceedings, and they'll probably bat again. I don't think they'll enforce the follow-on. It's tempting. I don't think they will do that. I think they'll bat again, give the bowlers a rest. They've been bowling for nearly 100 overs. So with a long test summer, I don't think they'll enforce the follow-on, I don't think. Usually the modern day way is not to enforce the follow-on. It's to give your bowlers a rest and then bat again and try and bat the opposition out of the test match and then try and get the 10 wickets on the last couple of days. Green in again to chase this one full. Chase glides this down to backward square leg for a single. And the West Indies just trying to bat as long as they can. That's the goal for them here. Still a long way back in this match. They trail by 330 runs with 3 wickets in hand. 7 for 268. In the 93rd over, Joseph 1 not out of 8. Chase 6 not out of 28. Cameron Green 1 for 26 of 8.1 overs. He's done pretty well. Got the wicket of Shamar Brooks in the last couple of overs. Pat Cummins, he's really captained well today. Here we go. Green in to Joseph. This one full outside off stump. Left by Joseph. Straight through to the keeper for no run. For a dot ball. It's a no ball there. So a no ball from Cameron Green. Overstepping. He's done that a few times today. That's another no ball from him. Overstepping there. Green in again to Joseph. This one defended to mid-on for no run. Australia looking to wrap this up. Looking to bat again. And for the West Indies, they've really done well in this innings just to really fight and try and bat as long as they can. 93 overs now in their first innings with the bat. That's pretty good. Green in again to Joseph. This one, a short ball. Ducked under by Joseph. Plays it well. Straight through to the keeper for no run. 3 balls left of this Cameron Green over. He'll be looking to try and get these last 3 wickets if he can, Cameron Green. He's already got one. He's got rid of Brooks. Here we go. Green into Joseph. This one full, driven through the covers from Joseph for at least a couple of runs. Coming back for the second, maybe 3. They'll just settle for 2 runs. He moves on to 3 off 12. 2 balls left of the 93rd over of this West Indian innings. They've done pretty well, West Indies, just to fight, just to try and stay in this contest. But it's been Australia since day one in this test match. They've batted well, they've bowled well. Green in to Joseph. This one left outside off stump, straight through to the keeper for no run. Top ball from Cameron Green. Well, things are starting to happen. A lot of people saying that the pitch was a bit placid. It was a bit benign. That couldn't be further from the truth. This pitch has given some assistance to the bowlers if you bowl in the right areas. Some movement and some swing as well. Green in to Joseph. This one full, defended by Joseph on the back foot for no run. That will end the over. 7 for 271 for the West Indies. After 93 overs, they trail by 327. 327 behind Australia in the first innings. And going to be a very tough task for the West Indies to try and save this test match. But they'll have to dig deep. They have to fight. They have to really dig deep and try and weather this Australian bowling attack. Nathan Lyon to continue. And he'll bowl his 20th over. Nathan Lyon bowls a lot of overs for Australia. Got a wicket today. That was Jason Holder, caught at leg slip by Warner. He bowls to Chase, who works this to mid-wicket for no run. Nathan Lyon spinning the ball into the right-hander. You'd be hoping to spin one away if you can, get that outside edge into play. Australia have got a slip and they've got a short leg. They've got a deep square leg, a deep backward square leg. They've got a mid-on and a mid-off. They've got a cover. They've got a long on. Line in to Chase, who works us down to long on for a single. And Australia won't mind that. They would like to bowl to Azari Joseph, the tailender. I'm pretty sure he's done the night watchman duties for the West Indies in the past. So he can bat a bit. Line into Joseph. This one tries to whip it through square leg, but doesn't connect it. Hits him on the pads. Boggles out to short leg for a dot ball. So we get a line in again for his fourth delivery. He's in to Joseph, who gets beaten all ends up. And it goes straight through past the keeper. And it'll go all the way for 4 runs, I'm guessing, or 4 byes. If he got a bit of bat on that. I don't think he did. 4 byes signaled by the umpire. Missed everything. Missed the outside edge. Carey couldn't get there in time. Oh,
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Sorry about that, everyone. My phone just going off there in the background.
No need to apologize.
Line in to Joseph. This one defended on the back foot for no run. That previous delivery that went for 4 byes, missed everything. Got the inside pad on Joseph. And Alex Carey couldn't get it. So beaten everyone there on that ball. But 4 runs for the West Indies nonetheless. Last ball for Lyon. Bowls to Joseph. Leaves this outside off stump. Straight through to the keeper for no run. End of the 94th over. It's 7 for 2, 76. The Australian bowlers have bowled really well today. They've really bowled a good line, good length. Really kept the pressure on the West Indian batters in this last session. They've taken 3 wickets. Blackwood was the first to go. Then De Silva and then Brooks. 2 wickets for Mitchell Starc and a wicket for Green in this last session. So the Australian bowlers with this new ball have made inroads pretty much throughout the day. Very tough for the Australian bowlers to pick up wickets, but they've been patient and they've always stuck to their plans. That's paid off today here as Cameron Green will continue to Chase, who whips him through mid-wicket for a couple of runs. Pick up a couple. Austin Chase moves on to 9. And the West Indies looking to try and bat as long as they can, if they can possibly really. If they face over 100 overs, I think that's a good result for them. But they're into the Tailenders now, Australia, so they can really wrap things up here with this new ball and really get out there and start batting. Green in. This one defended from Chase to mid-on for no run. West Indies looking to try and bat as long as they can here. John says the pitch had tennis ball bounce on day 1, but it's developed well and it's only day 3. There is something in it for everyone. Yes, there is. Green in to Chase. This one left outside off stump for no run. Well, when Australia took the new ball, the West Indies were 4 down, and now they've lost 3 wickets, so they're 7 down once Australia's taken this new ball. The new ball doing something for the Australian bowlers, and that's what you want to see. When you take the new ball, you want to see things happen, and the Australian bowlers have been spot on with their lines and lengths with this new ball. As Cameron Green bowls to Chase, this one short of a length. Chase easily defends this through the covers for a dot ball. West Indies fighting on here, but it's been a valiant effort. But it was just a matter of how long would they continue on this discipline with the bat. They've done well to bat for 95 overs. As we saw with the Australians, they batted for over 150 overs, and that was tremendous batting. Green in again to chase. This one driven straight back to Green for no run from Chase. West Indies trailing by 320 runs. It's a tough challenge for them, but if they can get something out of this tour, get something out of it, learn something from this tour, I think it will benefit them going forward. But definitely Australia firm favourites to win this series. Green in to Chase. This one down the leg side, deflected nicely from Chase down to fine leg for another boundary for him. 4 runs to end the over. It's the end of the over. It's 7 for 2. 82. Indeed. And it's time for drinks. Time for drinks. Here at Perth Stadium. Time for drinks. That's a good opportunity for both teams to get a refreshment or two as they try to push on in the next hour in this last session. Really push hard here, Australia. Get these 3 wickets. Try and wrap up the job tonight. Get out there and start batting. John says, I mean, you don't want to see Tony Gregg's car keys disappear on day one. You just can't please some people. No, well, I did lose his keys. He lost his pen. When he did the old pitch reports, lost his key one day at the Wacker, Tony Gregg. But, yeah, you can't please everyone. Exactly right there, John. But, the groundsmen, they do a very good job in preparing the surfaces. Not an easy job being the curator, trying to make it a good balance between bat and ball. So the West Indies 7 down for 282, 95 overs are done. We're at the drinks break in this last session of the day. And Australia looking to wrap things up pretty quickly after drinks here, you would think. 3 more wickets to get. Still got to be patient. Can't go searching for wickets. Bowl to the Tailenders as you would to a top order batter. And that will be the order of the day for the for the Australian bowlers. For the West Indian batters, it's all about just trying and bat as long as they can here. Whenever they get bowled out, they have to be ready to get back out there again with the ball and try and get wickets if they can when they start bowling to Australia in their second innings. And that will definitely boost their confidence. But for the West Indies, it's always going to be a challenge for them to compete and try and win this series against Australia. But what we've seen from them with the bat and the ball in patches and periods, they've really done well to fight and really fight well. But for Australia, the Australian bowlers have done well to get wickets at regular intervals. And they've done well to put pressure on the West Indian batters. And that's the big thing. And we saw that in this last session here. Once they got the first wicket with the new ball, then they picked up 2. And for the West Indies, 7 for 282, 95 overs in the book. They trail by over 300 runs still. So Australia will have a very healthy lead when they go into their second innings. I don't think they'll enforce the follow-on. They'll bat again. Not really sure if the West Indies have avoided the follow-on. It's 200 of the score. So Australia got 598. So I think the West Indies are close to that target. I'm not sure. I'll have to do the calculations. But I don't think Australia will enforce it anyway. Modern day teams don't like to enforce the follow-on. They like to bat again and give their bowlers a rest. And I think Australia will do that with a long summer ahead. You would like to give the bowlers a rest. And they certainly deserve a rest. They've toiled hard for 95 overs to get 7 wickets. But at least for the West Indies, at least they're not bowled out for a low score. 7 for 282 is not a bad score. But behind in this game, Australia in the box seat. They'll be looking to wrap it up get these last 3 wickets after the drinks break and really put the West Indian team under pressure here. It's going to be Asari Joseph. He's going to be on strike to Lyon. First over after drinks. Lyon bowls. He's going around the wicket to Joseph. This one defended. Back down the pitch from Joseph for no run. Dot ball to begin proceedings after the drinks break. And Australia will be very happy with how things have gone in this final session. Line in to Joseph. Defends on the front foot, nearly carrying to short leg for a catch. It falls safe. Dot ball. Line in to Joseph. This one defended on the front foot again for no run. From Joseph, John says, personally, I think Perth and Brisbane are the 2 best pitches in Australia. Adelaide is up there, but harder to judge as we're day-nights there now. Changes the dynamic. Yes, definitely. Perth and Brisbane, bounce and pace. Adelaide with the seam and swing movement, with the grass on the surface. Day-night test, definitely a good pitch, and hopefully we'll have another good pitch in the next test, which will follow this test in this series. Line to Joseph again. This one defended for no run. Joseph looks comfortable at the crease, but Australia will be hoping to unsettle him and to get him dismissed here, hopefully, get a wicket. And that will be the plan. Line in again to Joseph. This one left alone from Joseph again. Another dot ball, building pressure nicely, Nathan Lyon. He's got a leg slip and a slip. He's got a short leg. So we've got 3 catches around the bat. Line in again. Last ball the over to Joseph. On the back foot, defends it to short leg Joseph for a dot. End of the over. 7 for 282. Maiden over from Nathan Lyon. Indies 7 for 282. They trail by 316 runs. Well, definitely the Perth Stadium, definitely a good stadium. State-of-the-art stadium, of course. This Perth Stadium. And Australia have done pretty well in Perth. They've won the 2 test matches that have been played here in Perth. There's only been 3. That's going back to 2018-19 when they played India. They won that test here in Perth, Australia, at the new stadium. They also won here a couple of years ago against New Zealand. That was back in 2019-20. Pat Cummins to Chase. He bowls. This one full, defended by Chase to cover for no run. And he'll be hoping, Pat Cummins, to get another wicket here, get another couple of wickets. He's already got 1. Could finish with 3 or 4. Australia need 3 wickets to wrap up the West Indian innings, and they'll probably bat again. A lot of people saying Australia might enforce the follow-on. Some people are saying no in the poll in the chat. I think they won't. Modern-day teams, they don't tend to force the follow-on anymore. So I think Pat Cummins will have no hesitation to bat again once he picks up the 3 wickets. Cummins in to chase. This one defended to cover again for no run. Pat Cummins. Bowling very well today. The captain, he's really led from the front with the ball. 200 test wickets he's taken now. He'll be looking for wicket number 2 here. Hopefully to get rid of Chase or Joseph. He's in again to Chase. This one full, and Chase drives to mid-off for no run. Dot ball. Usman Khawaja does the fielding. He batted well in the first innings, got 60-odd. Good to see the Australian top order bat well. And good to see all of them cashing in, especially ahead of a very big period in Test cricket for Australia. A lot of Test matches to be played this summer, but also next year as well. The Tour of India and the Ashes coming in. Cummins in again to Chase, who leaves this outside off stump straight through the keeper for no run. But Australia will be very delighted with how they performed in this test match thus far. Batted well, they've bowled well. The West Indies have been fighting well. It's good to see a bit of fight from the West Indian team. 7 for 282 at the moment. Pat Cummins bowling really well here. In again. To Chase, this one down the leg side. Chase tried to get a bit of bat on that to try and work it down to fine leg, but he misses it straight through the keeper for a dot. Pat Cummins bowling well, 5 dot balls in a row. Could finish with a maiden. Could be back-to-back maidens. Building the pressure on the West Indian batters out there in the middle. And Chase and Joseph. Australia, 3 wickets to get. Wrap up the innings and hopefully get out there, and David Warner and Khawaja can start proceedings with the bat. Cummins in to Chase. This one traps him on the crease in front. He's out. LBW. Yes, he's gone. LBW. He's gone. Last ball of the over. He's gone. LBW. Roston Chase is walking. That looked pretty good to me. Hit him right in front of the stumps. And the 8th wicket goes down for the West Indies. Roston Chase has to go. It's 8 for 282. And Australia, 2 wickets remain for them to bat again. Good delivery from Pat Cummins, bowling straight at the stumps, challenging the pads of Chase. That one came back into the right-hander, trapped him on the crease. Richard Illingworth, the umpire, raised the finger of doom. And Roston Chase knew as soon as it hit him on the pads, he was gone. And he is gone. The 4th wicket down in this session for the West Indies. Roston Chase has got to go. He's gone for 13. It's 8 for 282 for the West Indies. Well, the Tailenders are in now. And Joseph, he will be joined by his other bowler in Kemar Roach. Let's have a look at this LBW. Yeah, looked pretty good. Yeah, plumb as. Hitting the top of middle stump. Kemar Roach arrives at the crease. Burst onto the scene years ago. He bowled that wonderful over to Ricky Ponting, where he hit him on the elbow in Perth at the Whacker back in that 2009-10 series. Ricky Ponting had to retire hurt. Kemar Roach was very quick in his early days. Now he's gotten a bit older and the pace has dropped a little bit, but he's still a pretty good bowler. Pat Cummins, 2 for 34 from his 20 overs. It's been exceptional bowling from the Australian skipper. Kemar Roach will have to face the music. He'll be at the non-striker's end. That was the last ball of the over, so it will be Azari Joseph who will face the first ball of Nathan Lyon's over. So here we go. Lyon to Joseph. Lyon's in. He bowls to Joseph. Defends on the front foot. Gets it past short leg for a single. And Kemar Roach will be on strike for the first time in this innings. But Australia 2 wickets away now. Wrapping up this innings. John says, need a hat-trick now. Well, we don't need a hat-trick. We only need 2 wickets. 2 wickets to get for Australia to wrap it up, and I think they will. They've taken 4 wickets after the tea break. Line in to Roach, who defends on the front foot for no run. That one just defended nicely there from Roach. Looks pretty comfortable to Nathan Lyon. Not much turn in the surface for Lyon. He's in again to Roach, who defends on the front foot for no run. So Nathan Lyon, not much turn for him in this first innings, but hopefully with the pitch deteriorating, getting drier, hopefully we get a bit of turn as the test match progresses. John says hat-trick for Pat next over. As Lyon bowls to Roach, outside edge, and taken, I think. Yes, it is. He's gone. Roach is gone. The 9th wicket has fallen. And I don't think you'll be getting the hat-trick the next over, John, because there's only 1 wicket to get. But Nathan Lyon's got rid of Kemar Roach. He's gone. Big swing. Outside edge, straight to Steve Smith at first slip. Nathan Lyon gets his second wicket of the test match. Healthy outside edge. Good catch from Steve Smith at slip. West Indies have lost their 9th wicket. Kemar Roach is gone. Not long for him at the crease. He's gone for a duck. West Indies are 9 for 283. Jaden Seals will be the last batter at number 11. John says, lol, I did it again. Well, you got the wicket there, Nathan Lyon. Good bowling from Nathan Lyon. 9th wicket down. West Indies, 1 wicket in their innings remaining. Australia have done a pretty good job in this last session of play. They've really bowled well, and they've really put pressure onto the West Indian batters. And Jaden Seals is the last batter at the crease at number 11. And he'll be hoping just to try and get through this Nathan Lyon over, but Pat Cummins will be bowling the next over, and that's not going to be easy, isn't it? So I would say Australia will be pretty happy with their job here in this last session. They've done pretty well. They've taken the wickets when needed. Here we go. Lyon into Seals. This one defended on the front foot from Seals for no run. Yep, he went for the big shot there. Kemar Roach trying to drive that through the covers. In the end, got an outside edge. Good catch from Steve Smith at slip. And Nathan Lyon picks up his second wicket of the test match. He's in again to Seals, who leaves us outside the off stump straight through to the keeper for no run. End of the over, 9 for 283. For the West Indies after 98 overs. And very tough now for the West Indies. They're going to get bowled out for under 300, you would think. Australia will most likely bat again, and that will be good for the Australian team. That's for sure. Hello, Han. Hope you're well, mate. And I hope you're enjoying the test match over in Pakistan, Han. What about England? Unbelievable. 500 in a day. Unbelievable. But I'm sure you're enjoying that, Han. England playing some good test cricket again. But it's great to see you here, Han, as we watch Australia and the West Indies, which is, Australia well in front in this test match, as Pat Cummins potentially could bowl the last over of this innings. He's in to Joseph, who defends to square leg for no run. West Indies trail by 315 runs, 9 for 283 after 98 overs. Australia in the box seat. They'll most likely bat again. Han says, I'm enjoying West Indies at least getting a respectable score. Yeah, Han, they fought well. They've really fought well in this test. It's just how long they will do it for, maintaining that discipline. They should be happy with how they've gone today. Cummins into Joseph. Short ball in the air. Out. Gone. Pat Cummins wraps up the innings. David Warner running off. It looks like Australia will bat again. The West Indies are out for 283. And that is the end of the innings. And Joseph gone for 4. And the West Indies are all out for 283. Pat Cummins happy with that. Job from the bowlers. Pretty good from the Australian bowlers today. West Indies all out for 283. Australia will bat again. David Warner was running off, so that's an indication Australia will bat and try and build this lead. Hans says, it's only a flying visit today. I have to go out in about 45 minutes. Well, it's good to see you here nonetheless, Han. Always great to have a chat with you as always. But appreciate you dropping by. So, Australia have done the job here. England all out. Not England. Not Pakistan. Getting confused with the other test match going on. West Indies all out for 283. Australia will be looking to increase their score. Han says, England got 600 plus. what an Ashes we might get in a few months. It looks pretty scary. But to be honest, I think they're playing at that pitch in Rawalpindi. And the test match that Australia played Pakistan there early in the year, it's a pretty flat pitch. So I wasn't surprised by England getting 600 plus. 4 centuries. Unbelievable. You know, Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope, Harry Brook. What is this? You know, it's not meant to be like this. But for England, they're reinventing the wheel in Test cricket. It's barely believable, that's for sure. But it's definitely going to be an interesting Ashes, that's for sure. So Australia have wrapped up proceedings here. They bowled West Indies out for 283. Pretty good performance from the Australians. They've picked up 6 wickets in that last session. So West Indies were 4 wickets down at tea. So 6 wickets. They've done pretty well. David Warner, Usman Khawaja will have to get these wickets. Get these runs, I should say. But yeah, for the West Indies, they've toiled hard, but Australia just too good in the end with the ball. So people in the chat said Australia will enforce the follow-on. Well, it doesn't look like that's the case today. Australia will bat again. And Han, you say, I bet Jack wishes he was going to Stockport with me. Is that where you're going, Han? for a bit of a trip? Well, that's nice. Hope you enjoy it. Well, West Indies, what can they do with the ball in the second innings? Trying to take some wickets here if they can. Thought they bowled okay in the first innings, but they bowled in patches. Didn't quite keep the pressure on at times. Hans says, it's a lovely 3 degrees Celsius today. I can't wait. It's pretty cold. I can tell you it's heating up here today, Han. At about 30 degrees, I'm guessing. Haven't looked at the weather, but it's hot. As we speak, I'm actually roasting at the moment. It's around about 26, so it's pleasant. We're into summer, so hopefully the rain and the cold and miserable weather that we've had has hopefully gone for the time being. But over in England, of course, it's going to be a little bit chilly. But, yep, we're getting to that time of year in Australia. Hot summer, cricket on, exciting times. And Australia have really dominated this test match. No surprise. And I could understand Gabe's reluctance to join me on the stream. He did mention me in the Cricket Tuesday video that Cricket for Americans did the other day. Yeah, very tough for the West Indies, but they're just going to come out, show some fight in this second innings with the ball. Australia lead by a big margin, over 300 runs, but for the West Indies, it's all about fighting hard here in this test match. Yes, I do, Han, but I haven't turned it on because didn't really need to turn it on, but it's getting a bit stuffy at the moment, so I may need to turn it on a bit later. I'll go for a cold shower or something to be refreshed. But it is boiling, so once you know, it gets quite uncomfortable in the summer here in Australia. It's quite hot. It's not nice when you play cricket in hot weather, especially when it's over 30 degrees. So I've played a few games where it's over 30 degrees and it's just excruciating. So I can understand how the players feel in Perth. So, yeah. I may need to turn it on. Hans says, in summer here, it was 20 degrees indoors at night. No aircon. Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that we're trying to get into the summer. It's quite good conditions, unlike the cold, miserable weather we've had over the last few months. So Australia batting again, not enforcing the follow-on, which I expected. Pitch looks pretty good, but this pitch has a little bit something in there for the bowlers if you bowl in the right areas. And we saw from Australia, they bowled in the right areas, and the West Indian batters couldn't really keep out the good deliveries there. So Australia will be pleased with their bowling performance. So I did have a little bit of a concern, hoping that this test match was probably not going to get a result. But you would think now that Australia definitely in the box seat to force a result in this match. For the West Indies, it's going to be tough batting how many sessions they'll be given to try and save the test. And that's not going to be easy for them. But for Australia, I'm liking how Australia are playing. This is what we used to see from Australia back in the day. Dominating with the bat and bowling well. Yes, be it against the West Indies, but still, it's good to see. Hans says, I'm going to keep count of how many people are in shorts and T-shirts today. You'll be surprised at how many will be dressed like that in this cold. Really? Ah. Well, definitely a lot of people wearing T-shirts and shorts here. I can tell you, Han, I am, because it's absolutely hot. But, it's summer when cricket's on in Australia and it's hot. It's the best time of year, that's for sure. Getting towards the end of the year, test cricket on. And seeing Australia play well, it's a glorious sight. It was wonderful to watch Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne bat the other day on day 2. It was an absolute masterclass. For Steve Smith, equaling Sir Donald Bradman's tally of centuries, 29. And he's done it in 188 innings, Steve Smith. Don Bradman did it in 52. So it just shows how good Don Bradman was. Han says it is like a badge of honor here for our Bogans. I'm sure it is. The West Indies are ready to go out to the middle. They're having their team huddle. They're talking about the plans. What are the plans? What are we going to do? How are we going to take wickets? I think for the West Indies, just got to keep fighting here. Han says, if the Don could play against this Windies team, his average would be 300. It would be. I'm pretty sure Sir Donald Bradman did play a test against the West Indies, Han, when they did play against each other in 1930-31. Now, I'm not sure how Don Bradman went in that series, but he went pretty well, I'm guessing. Because Australia and the West Indies, that was the first series they played in. That was back in 1930-31 in Australia. So David Warner, Khawaja making their way out to the middle. And it's around about 7:30 in the evening for me. Obviously, this test match is in Perth, so the time difference is a little bit different. But I'll be glad when the test match comes around in Adelaide in a few days' time. At least we're on the same page in terms of time. But it's around about 5 o'clock in Perth. So we're nearly approaching the end of the day's play over in the West. But over there on the eastern states, it's around about evening time, around about nearly 7, 8 o'clock. What about there? So Australia, they'll be looking to push this lead. What's going to be enough? I think anything 450 plus will be enough. I don't think the West Indies will chase that down. Get to 450 on the lead as quickly as possible, and then get out there and start bowling, because you got to give yourself time. You got to give yourself time to try and win this test match. So I think that will be the plan. But all in all, Australia will be happy with proceedings. Kemar Roach, the seasoned veteran, he's going to be bowling to Khawaja. First ball from Roach. Khawaja pushes this through the offside for a quick single. And he's off the mark, and Australia's off the mark. Australia now lead by 316. So I think the plan for Australia will just to bat tonight and bat a little bit in the first session tomorrow. Get the lead up to 450. That's enough. Get out there and take wickets, because I don't think the West Indies will be able to chase that down or try and bat for that long period for a draw, because it's going to be very difficult. Han, you say, do you think after Smith's awful last 2 years in T20, then suddenly a double ton in test, the selectors will finally wake up? Roach into Warner, who flays this down to third man for a boundary. David Warner missed out in the first innings, but he's going to cash in the second innings. He's already 4 off 1. That's the first boundary of the Australian innings. I think so, Han. I think Australia will have a massive rethink with their T20 side going forward to the next T20 World Cup. Look, by far, Steve Smith is better in one-days and test matches. A long period of time, T20s doesn't really suit him because it's a short time. It's only 20 overs. You give him a test match, he's unbelievable. Roach in to Warner, top edge, and will race away to third man behind the slips and the keeper for 4 runs. Australia are off to a blistering start in the second innings. The lead is 324. They're none for 9 after 3 balls. So, yeah. And I think with Steve Smith going forward, I think he'll make that call as well and say, you know what, I'll give up T20s and just focus on tests because he can definitely, he's on 29 test centuries now. He'll definitely get into the mid-30s. He'll definitely go past probably Steve Waugh tally of centuries. Roach in to Warner. Warner to Fins. Back down the pitch for no run. But yeah, unbelievable innings. 200 not out. He was absolutely spot on in that innings in this test match, Steve Smith. Yeah. South Africa, got to be careful in that test series coming up because he looks an ominous touch, Steve Smith, and he's back. He's finally back. So it's good to see him scoring runs again. Roach in again to Warner. This one, Warner glides this nicely past the cover fielder. He'll pick up a couple of runs in the deep. The outfield in Perth's been a bit patchy and a bit slow. I think Guns N' Roses had a concert here. So the surface not quite up to standard, but in the end, batters have to run hard between the wickets. John says Gabe will either say nothing or spit the dummy about this. Well, he was pretty frank about the West Indies' chances in this series on that Cricket Tuesday video. I can understand why he felt that way, obviously, and it's going to be tough for the West Indies, but they're just going to find a way in this series, really. You want to see them being competitive. And I thought in this test match, they've done well with the bat and the ball at times. And that's the end of the first over. Australia off to a blistering start. None for 9 after the first over. Sorry, none for 11, after the first over. Lead is 326. In the chat, what do you think's enough? I think 450 is enough. I think Australia got plenty of runs now, but they're going to bat again. So I think 450 is the cutoff point, I think. Let us know in the chat, what do you think Australia's target should be? Do you think 450, 350, 450, 500 for the lead? As Azari Joseph bowls to Khawaja. This one's left by Khawaja, straight through to the keeper for no run. I think around about 450 for Australia. I think 450, 500, I think bat for this session tomorrow, first session, declare at lunch maybe, have a crack at them, try and win this test match. Got enough runs. Han says Smudge is the best test batsman that has played in my lifetime. He is also the worst T20 batsman that I've ever seen. You could say that, Han. Yep, that's spot on there. He's definitely the best that I've seen as well. If only Don Bradman was here, Imagine if Don Bradman and Steve Smith had a conversation about batting. Don Bradman would be blown away by what Steve Smith has said about his batting and his technique. But the technique change has definitely worked. He's not moving quite so much as he used to. And that's definitely worked for him. As Joseph bowls to Khawaja, this one's on his pads down the leg side. Khawaja works it to find leg for a single. So he's definitely got that ability to problem solve and to fix problems in his techniques. That's what separates the good players with the best players in the world. I wonder if Don Bradman did that. I think he did, maybe. I'm not sure if he did that. Maybe Don Bradman was a deep thinker about his game, or maybe he just went out there and just bat and didn't really think about it all that much. But as a test batter these days, you got to think about improving your game every day. Joseph in to Warner, who defends to cover for no run. David Warner looking to get some runs. He's already 10 off 6. Missed out of the first innings. I think he got out for 4. He got out bowled, chopped on. He'll be hoping to cash in because he had to see Marnus Labuschagne, Steve Smith score double centuries. Hans says Bradman had body lines, Smudge had Archer. Pretty similar things, in my opinion. Yeah, pretty much. And Jofra Archer's coming back. Let's hope we see him back on the park as Joseph bowls to Warner. Warner works it past mid-wicket. He'll pick up a couple of runs, maybe 3. They should come back for 3, and they will, I think. Yeah. Run hard between the wickets. That's been the best thing for Australia. Sorry, a couple of runs in the end there. I thought they ran 3. Yeah. Imagine if Steve Smith had to face, the likes of the England bowlers in that bodyline series, yeah, pretty interesting to see him face those types of bowlers, Larwood in particular. I don't know, maybe interesting, but we'll never know. But always fun to fantasize about these sort of things. Joseph into Warner. This one's short. Warner tried to pull it behind square on the leg side. Didn't time it. Dot ball to end the over. It's the end of the over, none 14 after 2. Australia lead by 329. John says, Bradman would say, son, don't hit it in the air and stand still. Might make a batsman of you yet. Probably would. And it's going to be Roach to continue. The seasoned veteran bowler from the West Indies. He's been around for a long time. A lot of people remember him and Ricky Ponting at the Wacker in 2009-10 in that series. Hit him on the elbow. Ricky Ponting had to retire hurt. Dot ball to begin the over from Roach. Khawaja on 2 off 5. Hans says, the Don likes Sachin. So I bet he would have liked Callis and Smudge, superior players to Sachin, in my opinion. He would have. He did make that public that Sachin reminded himself when he played. When he watched him on TV, he said, Sir Donald Bradman. If he watched Smith and Callis and those other greats, then he would have said, yeah, he would have liked them as well, I would have guessed. We won't know that. Roach in. This one's short, outside off stump. Khawaja glides this nicely to deep backward point for a couple of runs. But it's good to see Test cricket back. We've got this Test series, Australia and the West Indies, and we've got Pakistan and England from Pakistan. That's a crazy Test match, if you ask me. Geez. 500 runs and 70 overs. Geez, Bazball working wonders for England, but it's quite a flat surface there in Rawalpindi. Roach into Khawaja, who glides this nicely through backward point for a single. But be interesting to see how that Test series goes in Pakistan with England in Pakistan. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Test cricket is back in Australia. Best time of year in the Australian summer. Roach into Warner, works it onto the leg side through square leg for a single. Bit of a short ball there from Roach. Got to get his line and length right here. Australia's lead is 333. Closing in on Sir Donald Bradman's highest score, which is 334. Which he got against England, of course, at Headingley in 1930. He got 300 of those in a day. Roach into Khawaja, who leaves this outside off stump for no run, straight through the keeper. Hans says, I don't recall Bradman saying much about Brian Lara. Really? Well, from the stuff I read, there was nothing about Bradman saying anything about Brian Lara at all. Maybe he did say a few things about him, maybe. But he was definitely fond of Sir Gary Sobers, that 254 that he got in Melbourne for the rest of the world 11. He said that was the best innings he ever saw. Dot ball to end the over from Roach. None for 18 after 3 for Australia. Their lead is 333. Well, it's always a good feeling when Australia are playing good cricket, and loving this from an Australian fan point of view. But this has set up Australia nicely for the rest of the summer. Hans says, Boycott got 300 to Headley too, maybe in 300 hours. Probably. Excuse me. Joseph to continue. Yeah, he would have got it in 300 hours. Long time batting at the crease. Jeffrey Boycott, definitely traditional. I don't think he'll like the way England are playing this baseball sort of business. Joseph in to Warner. This one inside edge onto the pads for no run from Warner. Dot ball. John says, does the ICC need to intervene in the Rawalpindi pitch either after financial assistance or a caution to suggest it's unfit for Test cricket? Yeah, John, they got to do something. I think the rating that the ICC gave for the Test match that Australia played against against Pakistan, that was given a below average rating. I think it should have been given a poor rating, in my opinion, because it was flat. Absolutely flat. Nothing for the bowlers. And you saw in this Test match, yes, Pakistan have got an inexperienced bowling attack. There's no Shaheen Shah Afridi. They're playing 4 debutants who are all bowlers. England saw that and said, you know what, flat pitch, inexperienced bowlers, we're going to take to them. And they did. And that's why they scored 500 in a day. But they got to do something. I think it will be a poor rating, because it's not good when you score 500 runs in 70 overs in a day. It's just not good enough. You want people to watch Test cricket, not unwatch it. And people are not going to get entertained by watching that. You want to see a contest. It's just 2 in favour of the bat. So the ICC, the match referee, will need to work that out after the Test match. And I think Pakistan need to really have a look at their pitches, because if the pitches are going to be the same as they were in the Australia series and the England series, then we're in for a long series. But I know Pakistan made flat pitches, especially in the first Test, to counteract Australia's fast bowlers. But you have a look at England's side. They don't have much fast bowlers except for Mark Wood, who's injured. So as Joseph bowls to Khawaja, drives straight to mid-off for no run. So definitely it could be a poor rating, I think, because, yes, it was exciting seeing England bat the way they did. 4 centuries on day one, the most runs in a day in Test cricket, I think, in the history of the game. I just don't want to see that. So for me, not really a good Test match, in my opinion. Yes, it's exciting to see that, but you want to see a contest, and it's just an absolute road. You don't want to see that. You want to see it break up and do something. Joseph to Khawaja, drives for a quick single straight to cover, nearly a run out, but he makes it home. Risky single, but in the end, no damage done. Hans says, at the time that Bradman was praising Sachin Lara was breaking world record scores. Odd that he never mentioned it. Yeah, I don't know there, Han. Maybe he did take an interest in Lara during his career. I don't know. He was a very private person, obviously, so we didn't really hear much from him over the years after he finished playing, obviously. Joseph into Warner. Oh, good delivery. Beaten Warner, all ends up. End of the over, end of the 4th over. It's none for 20 after 4. Australia building the lead nicely after 4 overs. And the lead is 335, I believe. So Australia rocketing along. Hans says, Boyk's ball, Baz ball. Yeah, 2 different styles. Man. Hans says, is the hope with Rawalpindi that the heat will crack the pitch up, but that just isn't happening, or is it a deliberate road? Yeah, it goes back to what I said before about when Pakistan played Australia, Han. And he's gone. Yes, gone. Wicket. Khawaja is gone. Outside edge. Taken by De Silva. And that is the end of Khawaja. He's got to go. Australia lose their first wicket. Usman Khawaja is gone. And that was an outside edge. Straight through to De Silva. Caught me by surprise, that wicket there. I thought he played and missed at that, but he got on the outside edge. Good catch from De Silva. He juggled the catch. He nearly dropped it, but in the end, he took the catch comfortably. That is the end of Khawaja. His test match with the bat is over. He's got to go for 6. Marnus Labuschagne will make his way out to the middle. Double centurion from the first innings. But really, it doesn't really matter for Australia. Technically, they're 1 for 330-odd. With the lead that they have at the moment. But for the West Indies, something to smile about, something to get them up and about in this second innings with the ball. Really, as a bowling side, don't really gain much from this situation. You're just bowling until the opposition declares. So you don't really gain much from this situation. But Australia 1 for 20. Labuschagne, he'll be determined to make more runs. I thought he batted really well. Going back to your question there, Han, it could be a ploy from Pakistan to nullify England's bowlers. But the way that they did that for the Australia series was to stop Cummins, Stark and Hazelwood. And that's why they made a pitch like that in that first test of the Australia-Pakistan series. So Pakistan really need to look at their pitches because you just can't have pitches like this in Test cricket. It's great to see, breaking all sorts of records in that, but it's just not Test cricket. It's not really competitive. So, and probably that Test match will end in a draw. Probably. It's only day 2 at the moment. England have just wrapped up their batting innings, and Pakistan are batting. So, be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, but you would probably think if Pakistan bat the same way, it could be a draw. As Kemar Roach getting that wicket of Khawaja, bowls to Labuschagne. This one left outside off stump for no run. Dot ball. Han says, I think Pakistan were banking on Shaheen not being injured. Without him, then a fast bowler's pitch makes no sense. Yeah, pretty much. He's pretty much their main bowler, really. And you'd see the way they bowled, obviously. I think they named 4 debutants that are all bowlers that haven't had much experience at first class or Test cricket, obviously making their debut. So that's why they bowled a little bit poorly. Also the pitch and also England's mindset has really helped England play a different style of Test cricket, which is crazy. You just don't see that in Test cricket. You don't see someone score 570 odd overs in a day. It's unheard of, It's unbelievable, though. But anyway, Roach into Labuschagne, works this through point, and he's off the mark for a single. You also say, maybe Bradman knew of the other Lara, and that's why he kept quiet. Well, probably. And you say, ooh, Uzi. Yes, if Gabe was here, I can just picture that now, just him saying that. It was nice of Gabe to mention me in that rant of his on Cricket Tuesday. I was flattered by that. But we were going to live stream today. We're not going to live stream every day of the test. I would like to watch the test match just on my own, just to sit down and just watch and enjoy it without having to talk or anything like that. It's quite therapeutic. But yeah, we're going to be doing it throughout the test summer, jumping on either 1 day or 2 days maybe throughout the tests, just to watch a bit of test cricket. But it's good to see test cricket back in Australia, that's for sure. John says, then in my book, that's just doctoring the pitch. Hard to prove, I know, but if... Yeah, it would be hard to prove. That's the end of the over. It's 1 for 21 after 5. Australia lead by 336. 336 runs Australia lead by. That's a big deficit for the West Indies to try and chase down in the second innings, batting last. Definitely get difficult to bat second on this pitch. In Perth, the cracks will open up as the sun bakes the surface. A lot of people said it's pretty much a flat pitch, but there has been something for the bowlers if you bowl in the right areas. And we saw that with Australia today. Bowled in the right areas. There was something. Bit of seam, bit of swing, something in the surface. Nathan Lyon didn't get the ball to turn, but hopefully it will dry up a bit, and we'll see that towards the end of the test, day 4, day 5 period. But anyway, Labuschagne on strike to Joseph. This one down the leg side, playing the miss by Labuschagne, straight through to the keeper for no run. Says, I don't see the benefit of making a pitch that gives each team 500 plus and ends in a draw every time. I don't know, Han, but you see it all the time in countries where they favour the home side and the conditions. Just prepare a pitch that's good for a balance with bat and ball. Home conditions will take over themselves naturally, and the home side will naturally come out on top, you would think. But try and make pitches that have a bit of life in them and a bit of assistance for the bowlers. That's what you want to see. Dot ball there from Joseph to Labuschagne, who's coming off a double century in the first innings. He batted really well. Marnus, quite a character within the Australian side. Joseph again, this one's short. Labuschagne edges this straight to second slip for no run. Didn't carry into the ground. Yeah, it just doesn't make for good test cricket. If you want test cricket to succeed and to be popular again, you've got to make a contest between bat and ball. You don't want to see roads all the time. You want to see some exciting cricket. Joseph to Labuschagne. Top of his mark, he runs up, he bowls this one outside edge to backward point for no run from Labuschagne. Han says, that is why you have to admire England. They prepare pitches and pick players to give the visiting team a great chance. Yes, you've got to give something in it. And I think the pitches in Australia as well. We saw in the Ashes last year at Australia, the pitches had something in them. And it was quite a bowler-dominated series, unlike many Ashes series where the ball hasn't been dominant, I should say, over bat in Australia. Defended by Labuschagne for a dot ball. No run. Last ball of the over coming up. But you just want to see that, really. Gordon. Hello, Gordon. Watching from Jamaica. Jamaica. Nice place of the world there. Home to Michael Holding. He's from Jamaica, isn't he? Whispering Death. Wonderful bowler he was. But good to see you supporting the West Indies, Gordon. And yeah, it's good to see the West Indies fight. Left alone from Labuschagne outside his off stump for a dot ball. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 21 after 6. Australia made an over there. They still lead by 336. Yes, to say, Gordon, 1 down, 9 to go. Yeah. Yeah, for the West Indies, it's just about trying to take wickets. If they can take wickets in this second innings, boost their confidence going into Adelaide as a bowling group, I think that's good. But good to see the West Indies. There's some promising signs there. I like the way Chanderpaul batted. I thought he was pretty good with his half century. Braithwaite, the captain, was pretty good. It's just that need to back it up, the West Indies, every time. But they're giving it a go, that's for sure. This one defended by Warner off Roach for a dot ball. But thanks for joining us, Gordon. I hope you're enjoying the cricket and cheering on the West Indies. Let's hope the West Indies can show some more fight in this test match and series. Hans says Steve Buckner is from Jamaica. Well, yeah, he is. Yep, he is. Steve Buckner, former ICC Elite International umpire, he was. Roach into Warner. This one short, pulled away behind square. from Warner for a single to fine leg. John says Australia has been accused in the past of doctoring the Gabba pitch to suit Warnie. Yeah, just about every home side does it, John. Every pitch has an influence by the curator on the home team. I think just let the curator do what he wants to do, not be influenced by the home side. I don't think we see that too often from teams around the world. But it's their home conditions. What are you going to do? So, or if the ICC do something, maybe I don't know. Dot ball there from Labuschagne off Roach. Got the early wicket of Khawaja, edging one outside off stump to De Silva. Marnus Labuschagne looking for more runs. He's batted well today, Marnus, and he's got a bright future ahead of him, Marnus Labuschagne. Roach into Labuschagne. This one defended on the front foot for no run. Hahn says, from the highlights that I saw, there were probably 300 people in that huge ground. Pakistan are really pleasing the punters there. Yeah, that's the thing. You want to try and make it exciting cricket. You don't want to turn people off from watching Test cricket. By producing flat wickets, people are not going to watch that because you just know what the result's going to be. It's going to be a boring draw. So you want to see some exciting cricket and you want to get the fans in. And that's what you want to see around the world, really, with Test cricket. This one pulled from Labuschagne, short ball from Roach, but it's a dot ball in the end. Kemar Roach bowling well in the server. Only one run from it, and that was a leg bye. Well, 337 is the lead for Australia. They're 1 for 22. Last ball of the 7th over. And it's been an interesting last session. West Indies bowled out. Australia increasing their lead slightly. 337. They'll be looking to bat on and bat and probably get this lead to around about 500 maybe, 450. Anything 450 plus is good. I think they've got enough runs as it is. Roach to Labuschagne. This one short. Labuschagne tried to work it through point. Doesn't time it. Dot ball to finish. End of the over. 1 for 22 after 7. Lead 337 for the West Indies. For Australia. Well, the sun coming down in Perth. We're just getting towards the end of the day's play. And Australia will be very pleased with how proceedings have gone today. Bowled the West Indies out. They're batting, building their lead, giving the bowlers a rest. The bowlers did their job. I think they'll be very pleased with how this has gone today. And if you're a West Indian supporter, I think you'll be happy with how the teams fought with the bat and with the ball so far in this test. But there's still a long way to go in this test match. A lot of cricket to be played. As Azari Joseph, promising fast bowler, about to continue for another over. He will bowl to Warner. He bowls this one down the leg side. Warner tried to work it down to fine leg, straight through the keeper for a dot ball. 1 for 22 for Australia, 7.1 overs, lead for 337. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone's enjoying cricket, wherever you may be. And Australia and the West Indies, first test of the summer here in Australia. And it's going to be a very exciting test summer, that's for sure. Australia looking to build nicely with their test team as they enter a busy period of test cricket. This one short from Joseph. Got a bit of glove and bat from Warner. In the end, it falls safe to the fielder at square leg for a dot ball. Australia 1 for 22. Not long to go in the day's play. We've got a few overs left. Australia will be pretty pleased with how today's gone. Bowled out the West Indies. They're batting in their second innings. The lead's 337. Joseph, this one full to Warner. Warner works it nicely through mid-wicket. It's racing away to the boundary. Will it get to the boundary? It won't. He'll pick up 3. 3 runs onto the total. The lead 340 for the Australians. Warner moves on to 16. Missed out in the first innings. And he'll be hoping to get a half century here in the second innings. He'll be hoping for that. Joseph to Labuschagne. He's a 1. Just trying to get into his innings, Labuschagne, after coming off that superb 200. This one left outside off stump for no run from Labuschagne. Only 3 runs in the over from Joseph. 3 dot balls and 3 runs. Australia doing their business with the bat and with the ball in this test match. They've really dominated from the get-go. Dr. Jihan, hope you're well. We'll get to your comment after this ball from Joseph to Labuschagne, who batted extremely well. 200 in the first innings. This one left outside off stump again from Labuschagne for no run. Jihan says, went to the match yesterday, saw Smith get his 200, was disappointing Head couldn't get 100 next ball. Yeah, I was disappointed as well, Jihan. He chopped it on for 99. Well, he's part of the club now. Part of the club. Test 99, part of the club. But Travis Head did his job anyway. So he was disappointed not to get a century, but did his job. He scored pretty well. And would have been a nice feeling watching Steve Smith and Marnus bring up their 200s, Jihan, at the ground. This one defended to mid-wicket for no run from Labuschagne. Dot ball to finish the 8th over. It's 1 for 25 after 8. Australia lead by 340. And well in control of this test match at the moment. Good to see Australia playing well. Good to see Australia playing good cricket. Jihan says, even though it was around 10,000 crowd, it was a good atmosphere. Yeah, obviously not big crowds, but there's many factors at play there. But good to see people there at the ground watching cricket. But yeah, you know, they've been pretty cheerful when watching the coverage myself, hearing the crowd noise. Sent the crowds up and about, a lot of cheering for both sides. Good to see that. First test of the summer. Jason Holder into the attack. Former West Indian captain of the test side. And he's relinquished the captaincy to Craig Braithwaite, who took over last year in March. I like the way Braithwaite's leading this side. I think listening to him in the press conferences, I think he speaks the right things. I think he says the right things about how the team wants to play their cricket, wanting to fight and wanting to do well and play their best cricket for 10 days in this series. And they've done okay in this test match. They fought hard. That one wide outside the off stump from Holder to begin his first over, and it's called a wide by Rod Tucker. 2 wide, in fact. Extra run, extra ball for Australia. Lead now 341. So people in the chat, let us know. What do you think's a good score for Australia for a lead? I think anything 400 plus is enough. They've already got enough runs as it is. 341 the lead. But they weren't going to force the follow on. It was always going to be bat again. That's just the modern day thing, really. Warner works this to deep point for a single. And he moves on to 17. Hans says, how many of these Windies players will stay behind and play BBL? I'm not sure, Han. I know Andre Russell is playing in the BBL this year. He's playing for the Renegades. I'm not sure how many of the test side for the West Indies are playing BBL. I'm not sure. I don't think any of them are playing BBL. I'm not sure. Maybe people in the chat could let me know about that. But I do know Andre Russell is playing BBL. But he's not a part of the test side, obviously. Defended by Labuschagne for a dot. He batted well for that 200. Marvellous 200. Him and Steve Smith scored, but that partnership which is unreal. Yeah, I'm not sure, Han. I know Andre Russell is. I'm not sure about the others in this test side. I'll have to search that up going into the BBL. But some clubs are recruiting some other players because some players are pulled out, some players are injured, some players are being banned for various reasons. Holder in to Labuschagne defends for a dot ball. Jihan says, set West Indies 475, bat one session tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's the plan, Jihan. I think bat until lunch, I think, and then probably have a crack at them second, third session, and then day 5. That's pretty good. John says 400 plus. Yep. I think they got enough runs as it is, really. But you would like to get 400 as just a safety barrier, just in case. But I think the pitch will break up and we'll see the cracks come into play and a bit of turn for Nathan Lyon, hopefully. Holder in. Labuschagne defends to cover for no run. Han says, if they are all just in Australia to play tests, then that is a good sign. They need a proper test side and not a bunch of guys with their minds on T20s. That's right, Han. And I think the way Craig Braithwaite has led this side as captain, I think he speaks the right things. I like the way he's going about things as a leader. He's saying the right things. He's, leading this side well. And it's good signs for the West Indies going forward, hopefully. Labuschagne works it to square leg for a single. First run for him in this over. But if that's the case, then that it's good for the West Indies point of view that they are thinking about Test cricket. And I think Jason Holder said during the coverage, one of the promos they did or something, he said, every player of this West Indian side want to play for the West Indies in Test cricket. It means a lot to them. Obviously, given the West Indian history in cricket, obviously. So that's good. That's a good sign. So they do care about playing Test cricket. It's just about getting other things in order as well. Let's see. Dot ball to finish from Holder there. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 28 after 9. We've got a few overs left in the day's play. The lead is 343. .343 is the lead. Australia closing in on 350. I have to take a mammoth effort from the West Indian batters to bat for a draw. It's not going to be easy. Han says Chandapur, 350 not out on day 5. Well, if it was his old man, his father, I think he would do that, but he bats like his father. Tag. I was very impressed with how he went about it. He got hit yesterday on the chest, short balls. He was ducking and weaving. That's good to see. He got back up again. And he said, all right, let's kick on here. Roston Chase into the attack. Bit of off spin. He got dispatched in the first innings, went over 100 runs. Probably a bad move from the West Indies to bowl him when they did. So he'll be bowling to Labuschagne. But you never know, Han. He could score a triple century. His father was a very good player. He was capable. But, yeah, similarities with him and his father. You can see that in his mannerisms and technique that he has. But he's going to have a bright future, that's for sure. One of the positives for the West Indies on this tour in Tag Chandapur as Roston Chase begins. He's got a leg slip and a slip to Labuschagne, but a spin. Seeing if they can get the breakthrough here. Get a second wicket here, the West Indies. Dr. Jihan, your comment. This one, Labuschagne pushes this to the leg side, through square leg for 1, quick single. Jihan, you say, do you think there should be more tests at Optus? Last one was 2018-19 season. The last one was 2019-20, Jihan, against New Zealand. Obviously, the first one was back in 2018-19 against India. So the last one at Perth Stadium was the New Zealand test in 2019-20. Yeah, there should be. But obviously, we know what happened over the last 2 years, and that's why we didn't see much cricket in Perth. Obviously, the Ashes were meant to play in Perth for the last test last summer. That didn't happen, obviously, for obvious reasons. I don't want to go into that. Everyone knows what happened there. I think they'll still play more tests in Perth. I think at least one every summer, maybe. Depends. You'll probably play at the Wacker as well when that gets redeveloped against the other teams in world cricket, and that. So it'll be interesting to see what Cricket Australia do going forward. A couple of dot ball there from Chase. Warner leaves this outside off stump for no run. But it's interesting to see what Cricket Australia would do. But depends how they structure the schedule of the summer. I'm pretty sure the West Indies come back for another Test series in January of next year. I have to look at the Future Tours program for that. But it's very uncommon to see, especially in Australia, that a Test team that's toured this summer come back the next summer. But it's just the way the calendar and the schedule is, isn't it? So, dot ball there again from Warner. Defending nicely. Wanting to cash in. He didn't cash in the first innings. Got out for a cheap score. There should be more. It's a very good stadium. I prefer the Wacker, obviously. Most people prefer the old stadium, of course, but you have to move with the times. But it's a good stadium. It's quite big. It's like the MCG in a way. Dot ball to finish, end of the over from Warner there. Pretty good over from the West Indies there from Chase. He went for a few runs in the first innings, over 100 runs. So he will be hoping to contribute here with the ball in the second innings. So into the over, 1 for 29. 10 overs in the book in the Australian second innings. Lead is 344. Going along nicely. One for 29 after 10. Labuschagne on 3. Warner on 17. It's going to be Holder to continue. This one left outside off stump. No run. Thank you, Han. You say I have to go now. Great stream again. I'll update you on the shorts and T-shirts numbers when I get home. Thank you, Han. Thanks for that. Enjoy your day, and thanks for dropping by. You also say, Han, just like his father, he's overshadowed by a guy called Lara. Yeah, he was. Brian Lara was a pretty good player. Dot ball again from Labuschagne. No run. Dr. Jihan says it took very good balls to get Chanderpaul and Braithwaite out. That's how well they were batting. Yeah, they applied themselves pretty well. Both of them are similar in terms of their temperament, putting a high price on their wicket, and that's what you want to see in Test cricket especially. You want to see that from young players especially. So that was good to see from their point of view. Dot ball for Labuschagne. And there is no run. 3 dot balls from Holder to begin the over. He'll be looking to get a wicket here. He bowled well in the first innings, Jason Holder. Batted okay in the first innings here. Made 20 odd. Holder in again to Labuschagne. This one full defended by Labuschagne for no run. Dot ball to begin. Sorry, dot ball there. 4th ball of the over. Jihan says, why is the West Indies team touring Australia twice in consecutive years? Makes no sense. I did hear they were coming back in January, Jihan. I didn't look at the Future Tours program, but someone said they're coming back for another Test series. And that doesn't make sense because you don't come back for consecutive Test series in Australia summers. That just doesn't happen. Dot ball again from Holder to Labuschagne. Defended. Back down the pitch for no run. It doesn't make any sense. I have to look at the Future Tours program. I haven't looked at that, but I'm pretty sure they're coming back in January with Pakistan. Next summer, it's Pakistan and West Indies for Test matches and I think limited over stuff, I think. I have to check. But yeah, Pakistan and the West Indies are coming back for the next Australian summer next year. As Holder, last ball of the over, finishes with a dot. It's a maiden. 1 for 29 after 11. Australia still lead by 344. That's the end of the over. I'm just going to pop out for a little bit, but I'm going to be back. I'll be back in a few minutes, everyone. Just need to attend to something. That's going to be Stumps, but I'll be back to wrap up in a minute. So just need to do something, but I'll be back. I'm back, everyone, and that will be Stumps. Last ball of the day and the last over. Australia 1 for 29 at Stumps on day number 3 of this test match from Perth. Pretty good day for the Australians, if you ask me. I think they'll be pretty happy with how the day has gone. Dr. Jihan says 2 tests, 3 ODIs and 3 T20s in 2024, little over a year away in January 2024. Thanks for that, Jihan. Yeah, so they are coming back again. It's just the way the calendar is and the schedule, really. So there we go. End of the day's play. Australia will be happy with how today has gone. Pretty good day, if you ask me, of test match cricket. But, yeah, Stumps. On day 3, Australia 1 for 29 at Stumps on day 3, and they lead by 344 runs, 1 for 29 after 11 overs, batting again in their second innings. We'll talk about the day, how I thought about the day in a minute. We'll get to John's comment first. I'll put my evil captain's hat on, bat tomorrow for 90 minutes, declare 10 minutes for changeover, 20 minutes batting, lunch, start again. I think that will be the plan, John. Depends how Pat Cummins wants to go about it. But, yeah, I think get to 450, I think that's enough. You need time to bowl the West Indies out. So, yeah, you never know. But there's still plenty of time in the test match. There's still plenty of time to go, really. Australia can do whatever they want. As Jihan says, Warner just said they'll probably bat until tea. Well, they could, they can do that, give their bowlers a rest and back themselves to take 10 wickets in 3 sessions. I think they want to bat for a long period of time to break up the pitch, make sure the pitch gets baked under the sun, the cracks open up, and we see a bit of turn and spin. I think that's the plan from the Australian team, and I think they'll do that going forward. So it'll be interesting to see what they do tomorrow, Australia, but they can do whatever they want, really, because they're in such a commanding position. What I thought about the day, I thought it was a pretty good day for Australia. They had to take wickets, bowl West Indies out, which they did for 283. And the Australian bowlers bowled better than they did yesterday. I thought in that last session yesterday, they went searching for wickets, bowled a bit short, didn't make the most of the new ball. So, yeah, the Australian bowlers have bowled really well, shared the wickets around. Labuschagne and Head bowled a couple of overs each. The West Indies showed a bit of fight and commitment with the bat, and that's what you want to see in this series. A couple of half centuries for Braithwaite, 64. Chanderpaul, youngster on debut, 51. The rest of the batting fell away a little bit, but they showed some fight and resilience. And 283 is not a bad score from them, from their point of view. Could have been a lot worse, but they made the most of the conditions in front of them. So all in all, I think Australia's day, really. Ian, which Aussie got dismissed? It was Usman Khawaja. Usman Khawaja got out. He got out for I'll just check that there. He got out by Kemar Roach, caught behind by De Silva for 6. So it was Usman Khawaja. He was out for 6, caught by De Silva, bowled by Roach. So that's the only wicket for Australia to fall at in the second innings. I hope that helps there, Ian. John says Davey has already started with the mind games. Well, he has, but you would say dominant day for Australia. Stumps on day 3, 1 for 29 after 11 overs. Australia lead by 344 runs at Stumps on day 3 of this test match. So a very good final session from Australia. They took the wickets. They bowled the West Indies out. They're in control of this test match. For the West Indies, it's going to be tough, but they've got to keep fighting. They've got to show that fight and resilience. They've got to keep fighting. They've really got to keep, coming back and making sure they not give up. And it's going to be tough for them to try and save this test. But for them, it's all about trying to get something out of this test match and get that confidence going forward. But definitely a very good last session from the Australians. For the West Indies, a lot of work to do, but they've got to be up for the challenge and the fight. But a pretty good day for Australia. There we go. So, well, I first live stream watch along of this Australian Test summer, and it's been a very enjoyable last session. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing some live streams throughout the Test matches on a particular day of the Test match and session. We're not going to live stream every day or every session or whatever. So just stay out for that on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, which many people have tonight, which is fantastic. And make sure you click that subscribe button because you don't miss out on any of our videos or episodes from the podcast. Ian says Australia dominated the game. They just needed 450, just near 250 in the second innings. Yep, pretty much. I think that'll be the plan, just to try and bat as much as they can tomorrow, get that lead up quickly as possible to 450, get out there, start bowling. They've got enough runs at the moment, but yeah, they're well in control in this match, and they should be able to get the job done and hopefully lead 1-0 into Adelaide for the next test. Ian says nothing more than that. Yeah, that's plenty of runs. You want to try and look to win the game. You also want to try and make it interesting for the West Indies, give them a bit of hope. Otherwise, apart from that, pretty straightforward for Australia tomorrow. So there we go. At Stumps, Australia 1 for 29 after 11 overs, and they lead by 344. And an interesting day ahead of us on day 4. John says, that's the most persistent, patient, relentless bowling I've seen from Australia for a while. Can't be unhappy with that effort. Stuck to the plan and didn't panic. Exactly right, John. I was pleased with the efforts of the bowling team, of the bowling performance as well. They stuck to their plans. They had to be patient. Don't panic. Wickets are not falling. You gotta keep running in and keep putting the ball on the spot and trying to execute your plan. Be relentless. They were, and they stuck to their plans and process. So definitely a very good Australian bowling attack. And quality, as always, from the Australian bowlers. And hopefully they'll do that in the second innings, and they'll definitely do that. But they bowled very well today, took wickets. That last session was pretty good, did the job, and hopefully for them, they can put their feet up, watch the batters score some runs, and hopefully cash in with the ball tomorrow, whenever that may be, either in the second session or the last session. We shall see what happens when Pat Cummins decides to declare. But for the West Indies, it's all about trying to be showing that determination, grit, and fight. And I think that's very important for the West Indies. Their character building in this test match. They spent over 150 overs in the field. That can be demoralizing, but they stuck at it. They just bowled the overs. They got on with it. So for them, it's just about trying to kick on tomorrow if they can. Let's hope they can, and show that fight that we saw from them in the first innings. Ian says, what skills do you think West Indies lack most as they try to compete in Aussie conditions? I think it's just about, well, they were tested with their techniques with the bat today. And with the bowling, it's about bowling the right areas and channels. And they didn't quite do that at times for persistent periods. They bowled pretty well at times during the first innings, then dropped off a little bit. They didn't keep up that discipline like we saw with Australia today. The skills that they lack, I think, well, the pace and bounce. A few of their batters today got a little bit unstuck with the short ball. So it's about playing that well. For their batters, it's just about trying to back their techniques and bat for long periods of time. For the West Indies, it's all about trying to do that with the bat. With the ball, I think they bowled far too short in the first innings. You can't afford to bowl short in Perth. You've got to pitch it up because batters can leave on length and can trust the bounce. That's what we saw from Labuschagne and Smith. They left the ball. They didn't play at the ball. So you've got to make the batters play at the ball. The West Indies didn't do that with the ball. So they do lack a little bit of skills when it comes to playing in Australia, but they've got talented players. It's just about trying to put that all together in a complete performance in a test match if they can. We saw that a little bit in this test match thus far. They played some good shots with the bat. They bowled some good deliveries. It's just doing that for consistent periods of time. And look what Australia do when they do that with both bat and ball. They're always consistent. They're doing it time and time again. And for the West Indies, yeah, tough day again, but they've got to come back tomorrow and do it all again, try and fight. John says, hope they don't push on until tea. Yeah, I don't think they will, John. I think they'll bat majority of the first session, probably bat a little bit in the second session, then probably pull the pin and declare. Get the lead up to 450, 500, whatever. That's plenty of runs. And go out there and get wickets. So that's the plan for them. John says, West Indies lack consistency in playing for forever session, but for every session, but they should show some good heart with the bat. Yeah, they should. They should show that confidence and back in their abilities with the bat, the West Indies. I think for them in the second innings, it's just about trying to bat. Don't forget about the score. Forget about the target that is going to be set by Australia. Don't worry about the end result. Just worry about batting and trying to play every ball on its merit because it's going to be tough. But we saw in this innings, they applied themselves pretty well. They faced a lot of balls. I don't think the West Indies, they talk about facing a lot of balls. And, so let's hope the West Indies can do that. Hello, Raj. Hope you're well. You say I'm late. Raj, we just finished up the first innings there. Just talking about how the day went. Raj says, have you heard of Ricky Ponting's scare? Is he okay? Is it true? That's news to me, Raj. I'm just searching that up. Okay. Well, it looks like he's okay. I think he was rushed to hospital in good time. I think he's okay. I'm just looking at it now, Raj. It was news to me. I didn't really hear what was going on. But fingers crossed that he's okay, Ricky Ponting there. That's news to me. But I believe he's in good spirits and he's in hospital and hopefully he's okay and hopefully he'll be on the mend. But let's hope he's okay, Ricky Ponting. That's not good to hear, but fingers crossed that he's okay and doing well. And I didn't really hear what happened there, but I just searched it up now. So Raj says, got the news. He had a heart scare and was rushed to hospital. Yeah, apparently he was commentating and he didn't feel well and rushed off to hospital. But that's news to me, Raj. Thanks for that. Hope he's okay. Fingers crossed. But it looks like he's in good spirits. He's in hospital. He's in good hands. All the best for Ricky Ponting, one of the legends of Australian cricket. So let's hope he's okay. But thanks for that news, Raj. You say, okay, that's better. I got scared by the news and saw you were live, was worried. Yeah, I think we're all worried when this happens, Raj, but let's hope he's okay. He seemed fine when I listened to him on commentary early in the day, obviously. Obviously very important to look after your health and when things are not right, take the appropriate action. And that's what Ricky Ponting did. And that's what his colleagues did in the commentary box. So quick thinking, and he's okay. He's in good hands. So we wish Ricky Ponting all the best. Terrible news. Thanks for that, Raj. You say speedy recovery for him. Absolutely. Absolutely. We hope he gets better. But that's not good news to hear. Well, that's a pretty sad note to end on, Ricky Ponting there. But let's hope he's okay. He seems to be in good spirits, and let's hope he's okay, Ricky Ponting there. Obviously, not some good news to hear following that, but let's hope he's okay and doing well. But going back to the Test match, Australia in control, looking pretty good. 1 for 29 after 11 overs. They lead by 344 at Stumps on day 3. Well in control and in command of this Test match, which is great to see from the Australian point of view. And they'll be delighted with how this day has turned out. Alrighty then. Thanks everyone for joining us for our first live stream watch along of the Test summer. A reminder, we will be back. We won't be back for this Test match, but we will be back for the second Test match in Adelaide. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast on our YouTube channel, click the bell so you don't miss out when we go live or when we post an episode of the podcast. Because if you click the bell, you'll know when we are live or have an episode out. But so we will be back for the Adelaide Test. That will be the second Test between Australia and the West Indies. We could be back on day 3 again. Last session, depends. But just make sure you watch out our YouTube channel. Notifications, you'll know when we go live. But any other questions before we wrap up after the day's play? Thank you, Raj. See you next stream. Thank you, Raj. No worries. We'll be back. Thank you, John. We'll be back for the second Test match, that's for sure. Second Test match from Adelaide. But thanks, everyone, for joining us. It's always great fun. Australia well in control in this Test match. You would think they will go on and win this Test match and probably lead the series 1-0 going into Adelaide. But before we go, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Also, the podcast is now available on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.